anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right to that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to those in television land. Welcome to our silent supporters. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Hope everyone have a wonderful start and a productive week so far. Remember, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you are new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. Tonight's topic is the big steal. Usain Bolt and others' money got stolen, with your host Baron, Anne-Marie, Pastor Ricky Melting Pot, Mr. Rattigan, and ISAT will be joining us shortly. Let me just welcome those in the chat. Michibu, Patel Cruikshank, Devon Fletcher, Jeanette Letts, Doris McCoy, Carla Ebanks, Truck Life, Laris Beckford, Don Mel, Merlin Mollioson, Esther De Souza, Rennie Swaby, Beverly, Rosa, Universal, Douglas, and Anthony R, JP, Nathaniel Brown, Sonia Ellis, G Angel, SSL, Jerry Sadler, Noreen McLean, D Park, welcome. Yvonne Johnson, welcome, and I will continue welcoming persons. If I lose control, you know it's going to be an umbrella. Welcome. And Joan Sinclair, welcome. And Bennett, welcome. Without any delay, over to you, Baron, while I do some housekeeping.
All right.
Gerald Simpson, welcome.
Okay, thank you, wifey, for that usual precursor there in terms of meeting and greeting our wonderful subscribers who continue to follow us, right? And of course, we are here to deliver the truth, right? As it relates to, the information that we are utilizing, right? And of course, be factual, right? I mean, 100%. There are times that maybe we can we make a little error, and if that is the case, of course, we will be willing to correct it. Now, let me speak to Jamaica, right, and the world at large. We have seen certain narrative going out there, right, to deflect from the real issues at hand. The real issues at hand that we want to deal with, particularly tonight, is one of the greatest evil that has ever passed through Jamaica. Right? Viciousness, a premeditated plan to rob and loot from the Jamaican people. Tonight we are going to prove, right, and identify the players, the orchestrators of the plan. And we are going to use solid evidence, right, in presenting it. And when we present that information tonight, right, I mean, you will deduce from that as it relates to the mastermind, as it relates to so many persons, over 200 and odd accounts being defrauded, right? Tonight, we are going to go through the intricacies, right? And give people the full details, right? Give people the history, give people the plot and how it was executed, and of course, the persons who executed it. No doubt, let me say that SSL is a state crime. State crime. No doubt about that. SSL was premeditated and executed, and we are going to prove that tonight. Of course, we have our usual panel with us. We have Melting Pot, we have Pastor Ricky. We are going to have Reason with Rattigan coming through later. We are going to have ISAT Buchanan, right, coming through later. And ISAT Buchanan, he will be doing, of course, his drive as it relates to, you know, the progress that he's making in his constituency, right? Put education at front and center of his mandate. And so then, of course, we will enjoy, right, Brother Isaac, Comrade Isaac, right, MP candidate for East Portland, right, in our midst tonight. And, you know, we are going to also ask persons, right, to, of course, donate to a meaningful cause as it relates to what Isaac Buchanan is doing in Eastern Portland. As I said, put education front and center, right, identifying the youths, right, educating them, drive to educating them so that they can be future men and women of tomorrow, right? We don't believe in giving a fish. We believe in teaching people how to fish so that they can become, you know, that rich fishermen that they want to be in terms of education. They can, you know, as it relates to what they aspire to be, they can be that through the process of education. And Isaac Buchanan is delivering that. So Isaac Buchanan will be with us shortly. Without any delay, let us go through our usual meet and greet, right, with our panelists, beginning with Melting Pot in the house. Go ahead. Yes, Melting Pot. No volume, no volume, Melting Pot. Turn on the volume.
It's not me muting.
You're on mute. All right, Pastor Ricky, pick up the slot in the meantime until Melting Pot.
It's done.
Okay.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
All right, go ahead.
Good evening to you all. Yes, good to be here once again on this blessed Tuesday evening, sharing the space on the Mystic Sensation platform with Mystic, your host, alongside Technical Director Anne-Marie, my brother dear Pastor Ricky, and later on in the program, we'll be having two very distinguished panelists, you know, as it relates to Isaac Buchanan and Reason with Rattigan will be passing through. So tonight we are here to discuss matters of priority as it relates to SSL and the government that we find, you know, to be in breach of governance that surround SSL. So we will just go along and dissect with your host, Byron. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Melting Pot. Without any delay, Pastor Ricky comes in on the space.
Yes, good night again, Lady Anne-Marie, the co-pilot, the engineer behind the scenes, Sir Byron, the certified investigator, General Sir Melting Pot from across the water. Big up Sir Rattigan coming in the space, the supervisor, FBI supervisor agent, and also my comrade brother Isaac Buchanan, the attorney, the next MP of East Portland, that his inspiration, his vision is going to spill over West Portland, and we're going to sweep the whole of Portland. Nobody not own Portland. Portland belongs to the Lord. Amen. Over to you. Oh, greetings everyone in the chat. Those who will be watching tonight and future after the live is end. Greet you all. Blessings.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, so let us jump in the starting, of course, by let us feature our comrade leader, right? No other than Mark Golden, dealing with some crazy movements. Let us warm up before we get into the deck of things here, right? Let us show the comrade leader doing some, nice movements. We have to do a little warming up before we get into the space. Right. All right. The man of the moment.
Lord of mercy, Jesus Christ. What a redeem and nice. Them never know say a PNP rhythm miss. Hey, Andrew, when you are gonna call the election, Lord, comrades ready, them ready to mark the X. Hey, and we are gonna mark with X right beside the head. Lord, ready, we ready, so call it now. Call the election. Hey, them say Marky J, him and the good leader one. Lord, what a man full of integrity and good education. Hey, Marky G on corruption. So if you know, say you don't straighten a man, nobody come run Marky G. Him not still like the next.
Well, and you call it if you're bad. And you call it if you're bad. And you call it. Are you know, man? And
The
you call
sunshine
it.
shake rhythm that.
Well, they love the rockers there. Right, but after the rockers.
In the chat.
Right. Okay, all right. Big up Bolo in the chat. Right, people don't know what to do, Right, people are working hard, people are putting out the information, right? Continue to support them. Bolo. My respect to you, sir. Now let me take that off, right, as we get into the vibes. Now we are going to get into serious business as it relates to, again, featuring Comrade Mark Golden. And let me say this, Jamaica. We are very serious with the information that we are putting out, right? And we make sure that we have done our research. We make sure that we are putting out the facts. Cannot be disputed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cannot. Hold on. All right, we have a breaking news. Let us put on Sister Pat, who is going to share a breaking news with us. Go ahead, Sister Pat.
So I put more with them calling me the man when him at me with it.
Terry Langton. Terry Lang.
Yeah, in that we them over there, big fighters sitting over there.
Wow.
Police and everybody, yes. Shame on you, after you are them up there with the backyard.
Yes.
For the internet, catch. Me know he has that today. What part is a war over there? Shame on you. Them mud him up over there.
Oh, okay.
People phone. Him appear to police there on him like, whoa.
Okay.
A few of them come there with him in a green, but they want to put him return one parish, and the people them say, no, don't find him over there. War. So
all right.
Next 80.
Okay.
And
all right. All right. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you for that, Sister Pat. Now, Jamaica, right? You have heard that from Sister Pat, just giving us, right, highlight at, as it is unfolding in Portmore, right? Excitement, right? The people are burning out Terry Langton, right? Not wanting to take that sort of suppression as it relates to shooting down, right? The situation with Portmore being the 15 parishes. So people are rebelling against it, right? And that is the highlight. I want to say, Sister Pat, thank you for that. Now, let me say this. Now, since we are going to, tonight is going to be extremely serious, right? As we said, we are going to peel back the onion of SSL, right? as it relates to over 200 and odd persons being defrauded, included Usain Bolt, right, our icon. And let me say this, if the Jamaica Labour Party government can do this to Usain Bolt, then they have no respect for no Jamaica, point blank and period. And Usain Bolt, who is an icon, right, who carry Jamaica on his back, right, and I mean, put us to the pinnacle of track and field. And you know, the Jamaica Labour Party administration pay no regards to the achievement of Bolt, right? Highlighting Jamaica like that and disrespecting him like that. Show no disregards. And tonight we are going to show the world what the Jamaica Labour Party administration had done. I make sure I spend all the time gathering all the evidence, right here. Any critical thinker looking through that know that it is a state crime, including the Prime Minister, a state crime, including the Prime Minister, right, appears to be one of the primary mastermind. And we are going to prove it tonight. Let us say it again, including the Prime Minister, that appears to be one of the mastermind, right, as it relates to having over 200 and odd persons defrauded, and we are saying it with confidence. Confidence. Now, let us bring us Mark Golden, right, telling the Jamaica Labour Party administration that when the People's National Party get in power, which they are going to make sure that what the Jamaica Labour Party is suppressing, Mark Golden will lift up those stones, turn them over, and they will be exposed. And so then, of course, we are saying to Jamaica that if you want to know the truth, right, based on what I'm going to present, making sure that the People's National Party put in power, right, so then checks and balance and accountability can be done. Let us just invite Brother Rattigan in the space. Brother Rattigan. Okay, all right. He's just there, he's not up yet as soon as, but he's on the dashboard there. So without any delay, let us tell Jamaica, right, as it relates to what Mark Golden is going to pursue, right? And I'm telling you, Mark Golden is God send him come. And I am saying that with confidence, man of honor, man of integrity, and that's what matters, right? Now, without any delay, let us get into Mark Golden video here, right? Lift up that. And then after this video, we are going to get into the investigation, people. No doubt we are going to dig in, bite in. So people, click and stay.
You know, it pains my heart when I see what this government is doing to the great sprinting legend of Jamaica, Usain Bolt. It is a disgrace. The man invested his money for his retirement in an institution regulated by the Jamaican regulatory body for investments in the country. And there was a massive fraud going on in there. Nigel Clark was Minister of Finance. When the report come to his office about the problems, he put the report in a cupboard and forget about it. Andrew Holness had money in there. And Andrew Holness take out his money before the thing collapsed and leave Bolt and others to suffer the massive losses of, in his case, millions and millions of hard-earned US dollars that he raised through his exploits on the track to bring glory to Jamaica. What can go so? What can go so? Well, I'm here to tell you that when we form government, no stone will be left unturned to chase down that money for Mr. Bolt and the others. No stone will be left unturned. This lackadaisical approach, dragging the thing out, we can't get any information. We want the reports. We want the Crow reports to see what has happened. And there must be a commission of inquiry into the regulatory failures that would allow an institution like that, licensed to deal in securities and manage people's money, to have been operating for years, carrying out such massive fraud, and the regulator let them go ahead and let them go ahead until it was too late. We are going to get to the bottom of it because we respect the people involved who have put their money in Jamaica, and to the diaspora and others overseas. We need to send the signal that we take it seriously and that Jamaica is a place where you can come and invest your money. And this government is letting the people down.
Take that away. Take that away. Brother Rattigan, let me just give you the space for your introduction, because, you know, after you finish, then of course we are going to bring the fire, right? Because tonight is going to be living lava. Not too about Just go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Everyone in the chat. Big up Melting Pot. Big up Pastor Ricky. Now watching you know, now go on with things. Right? No say nothing, but me watching you know, now kick up dust, and of course Mystic. Why? You know what we say? Yeah. Right. Hey, look, it's a pleasure being here. Last week, people, you talk about fire. It was blazing last week, and here the man said, "No, lava tonight," you know.
Like an overflow.
It's overflow, but yeah. So again, it's a pleasure being here, sharing the platform with such luminaries, you know, people who are fighting for the Jamaican people and striving to hold government accountable. That is our aim and that is our destiny. And until then, we shall never give up. Thank you for having me, my brother and my sister. And Marine, I think we forget you, you know. All right.
All right. So panel, let me warn. I just want you to bear with me. Look, let me just run off a few little clips before I involve the panel, because we want to take you through the chronological sequence in terms of what we're going to provide tonight. But yes, the panel is going to be very active tonight. But let me just run off, you know, a few little clips, right? Because tonight, as I said, and I promise, lava, we are going to deliver that tonight. No joke about it. Trust me, volcanic eruption, right? Now, let us one part a little bit, right? Here we are going. That, please, don't depend on statute of limitation for this. Someone asked me last week if statute of limitation is on fraud, is on the fraud case. Now, let me just bring up what we had researched, and we are warning Paula Lublin, because I know that Paula Lublin is on conundrum. Only without any delay, let us show Jamaican people as it relates to the limitation that possible as it relates to this fraud case. And I want to ask Rattigan something on this, because Rattigan is a lawyer, of course, right, by profession, right? And I am doing this because I want Usain Bolt to be aware of this, right? So the question asked as it relates to if, you know, fraud case as statute of limitation, and it says, yes, cases of fraud in Jamaica are subject to a statute of limitations with the general time frame of bringing a claim based on fraud being 6 years from the date the cause of action accrued, meaning a fraud claim cannot be brought in court after 6 years have passed since the fraudulent act, right, occurred. Let me ask Rattigan something, right, based on that. because Ratigan is the legal mining. Take it away, Oni. Let me ask Ratigan. Based on that, what we just read, Ratty, right, as it relates to SSL fraud case, is it speaking in relation to, okay, if the fraud case reported within the 6 years, or is it speaking as to when it actually put into the court? Guide us on that information.
No, and that's the shortcoming, one of the shortcomings of the legislation in Jamaica, which you don't have that. At least I can speak for New York and Maryland and DC and Connecticut. They have something called a tolling provision, which even though it's 6 years, they'll say 6 years from the act was committed or 6 years from when it was discovered. Because it's possible for the act to take place 12 years ago and you're just realizing it now.
Yes.
And so if you go by just where they say, well, it's 6 years from the date the act occurred, then you're time barred. It's just like the action that they brought against the acting permanent secretary Grace McLean, the surcharge action in Jamaica. They have two laws governing that. They have the Public Procurement Act, and it says it's 3 years from the date of discovery. The Financial Administration and Audit Act says it's 3 years from the date the act was committed. So that's why she get away, because they use the FAAA Act. They use the FAAA against her instead of using the corruption, instead of using the Public Procurement Act, because the Public Procurement Act would have been 3 years from the date the Auditor General say, hey, this is what happened.
Yes.
So they didn't go by that date. They go by the date when the money was paid, not when it was discovered.
Yes.
So with both thing happened when
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years. So they have yeah. So the statute of limitations, now that we know about it, well, actually under the Fraud Act, it would start from the date the act was committed. But I've been led to believe, but from a consultation with some of my colleagues in Jamaica, that there are other statutes that they can bring to bear against the people responsible for looting. And I just before coming on, I had a conversation with a senior politician in Jamaica, senior at the highest level, and he's trying to convince me that they never really take the money from both. And I said, come on, man. Come on, we know better than that. They looted the money. They took the man's money and under the pretense of investing it, and it was never invested. Or if it was invested, he never saw a return, even though they sent him statements saying that, hey, your money is is accruing interest, and that never happened. So long story short, six years from the date, from the time the incident occurred. So it would have to go back from the time. But you know what? The question is, when does it start to run? And what would be pivotal in this is to look at the Kroll report, because the Kroll report would tell you, okay, this is when he deposited the money, and this is what happened to the money. So that would be the starting of the 6 year period. But we don't have the Kroll report, so we just have to assume that it's around that time. But we can't find it out because it's simple. You just ask Bolt, when did you deposit the money?
Yeah, Bolt deposited that money in 2012.
2012.
Yes.
All right. Now here's the problem. If let's say that money was stolen 2013.
That money was stolen in 2012.
But let's say deposited in 2012 and it was stolen in 2013. The statute gone. The statute run already.
No, but Ratty, we just waiting with something, To the half run when time Bolt knows say money was missing, That's when Bolt get knowledge, say money gone when it was discovered.
No, but here's what. No, they don't put knowledge. Knowledge is not one of the provisions of this act. The Public Procurement Act is one where you would have knowledge, because it's 3 years from the discovery.
But it was only discovered in what, 2021? The ending of 2021.
Yes.
I think so.
But here's what happened. The statute governing fraud doesn't mention doesn't mention date of discovery. It mentions date that the act took place. So if you're saying that his money was stolen in 2012, the statute would start running from 2012 because they don't take into consideration when it was discovered. They only take into consideration when the criminal act occurred, which I think is nonsense.
It has to be nonsense.
I have a question, Sir Ratty. Do you think, Sir Rattigan, that the DPP is aware of this statute? That's why at first she said it's gonna. She told Dion Jackson Miller she's waiting on more documents that's pertinent and very critical to her making a decision. But I'm thinking now that you're sharing this information, is it possible that in your estimation she's aware of this statute? So now she run out and said, "I'm ready to move forward," and with a prosecution. And then we see the Jamaica Labour Party, including nationwide, is saying that both money was stolen when he deposited. So it puts it back to 2012. So you can see the puzzle that they're the way they're going towards.
Yeah, and you know what, Pastor Ricky, the DPP, we're going to do a program on her this Saturday to show how conniving she is, and not only that, to show how her colleagues, they're also conniving. Things that she did that she should have been punished for. We're going to show what they did with it, and we have the documents to prove that. But you're absolutely correct that it sounds to me like there's a whole lot of collaboration going on in terms of trying to make sure the statute runs out. And here's why. The DPP is a supreme prosecutor in Jamaica. That's the highest it can go. Nobody else can prosecute criminal cases without her intervention. Like you have some cases where you have the clerks can bring some cases, but that's cases where she has designated. Now, if you go back to the Constitution and you say, okay, the DPP is the only prosecutor or the supreme prosecutor in Jamaica, and she can start a case, she can take over a case, and she can dismiss a case before judgment, except military cases. Then she should know about all of these cases, and she could have stepped in, and a number of these cases she could have stepped in and said, no, you know what, I'm going to take on the prosecution. We're going to do this because we don't want this thing to be dismissed because of the statute of limitations. But you see, they sit back and look at the guy from KSAMC. Yeah. Look at his case. Look at Grace McLean's case. And there's numerous cases where they just sit back and the statute just run. And the sad part about it is that the Jamaican people, for whatever reason, they don't raise their voices about these things.
All right.
So hold on a second, Byron, just a minute. Well, if that's the case, then even before SSL saga come to the light of the public interest and knowledge, it would have died because 6 years would have elapsed from 2012.
Yes,
exactly.
Hold on, can I just read something that I just found?
Okay.
It says in Jamaica, the statute of limitation for a fraud case begins to run from the date the fraud was discovered or when it could have been discovered with reasonable diligence, meaning the clock starts ticking when the victim becomes aware of the fraudulent activity.
Exactly.
Not necessarily when it occurred. This is based on the principle that a cause of action for fraud only accrues when the fraud is discovered.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so
that sounds a lot more.
That is there because my aunt just a full up smartly.
And I mean, everything would have dead in the water.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I guarantee you that what's his name, Champagne? I guarantee you that if he's representing them, that's the argument he's going to make.
But if you can't bring it based on what Anne-Marie just read.
Yes. Yeah, but here's the thing.
It cannot present that case.
But he presented that case with Grace McLean. He did present that case with Grace McLean. And guess what happened? Let's throw it out.
Yeah, because that never get no pressure. Yeah, Grace McLean case never had enough fire. Usain Bolt case under fire.
Yeah, so we're glad we have at least the statute giving the case some traction.
Yeah.
There's a discovery rule, and it says that the discovery rule applies meaning the limitation period starts when the victim reasonably could have discovered the fraud, not just when it actually happened.
And that makes sense.
Definitely,
All right.
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense as it relates to, you know, I mean, I would say the prudency of the law.
So here's what happened now. Here's where
Right.
the argument is. Here's where
Yes.
here's where the argument is gonna come in. When could he have reasonably discovered that there was a fraud? That is where the
2021.
conversation.
2021.
No, but here's the thing. They're going to, if I'm representing SSL, I'm going to look back and say, okay, was there at any point where he could, first of all, I'd have to establish when did the fraud occur? And let's say the fraud occurred in 2013.
Yes.
Right? I would say, okay, well, was there any point after 2013 where he reasonably could have determined that a fraud had occurred? Was
No,
there
he
any
couldn't have.
period?
Couldn't rat it because I remember ratting.
He couldn't have ratted because, hold on. He couldn't have because all along he was getting statement that everything was okay. Right. And not only that he was getting statement that everything was okay, he has evidence as it relates to when he was informed. Right. If you go back on the fixed interview, right, when Bolt was saying that he got a call,
Come on, no?
right, from his friend who asked him to sit down.
Yeah, come talk about this 6-year thing, huh?
Right. So
right.
be glad we have some traction where this is concerned and
Hold
where,
on.
of course.
Well, I thought to come join you now. Someone want film take on it because he's of the opinion that it's 6 years from when the incident occurred. So want to hear him
Bring
opinion
up that
on it.
statute and bring up that so that ISAT Buchanan can read it. Put it up so that people can see it where we are going tonight. Because tonight we are going to go deep dive into this situation. So I want people to see that. And
the other thing too is
Yeah.
who got the statements? Did Bull get the statements himself, or was it his representative?
okay.
Because there was an argument at one point earlier. There's an argument that his representatives there were in collusion with SSL. Long time ago. Go ahead.
All right.
Deflection.
Yeah, we don't have any evidence of that, Ratty. We
Okay.
know definitely that as it relates to Bolt and what Bolt got, even Pantan in her so-called confession statement made mention of what she had done in terms of misleading, right, the investors. So here it is, right? So that ISAT can reason with it. Let's put up that until ISAT come. We can show ISAT to reason with it. But where we want to get into now, right? We want to prove to the entire Jamaican, right, public, home and abroad, as it relates to SSL is a state crime, and we have all the evidence, right, to prove this. And we know that, right, with confidence that the Prime Minister is a part of the mastermind in SSL, right? And we say that with confidence. Now, here the reason why Mystic Sensation is saying that, because of the history that we are going to present right now, as it relates to Andrew Owen's awareness of Paul Cheng Young and Hugh Croskery, right, of their court case, as it relates to when Andrew Owen joined SSL, right? Now, Andrew Owen would have aware, right, of the 90s meltdown. Andrew Owen had spoken about it, right, on several occasions, right, giving us that, okay, he has awareness of it. And the persons who were involved, where that is concerned, is Paul Cheng Young, Hugh Croskery is a part of that time period. I am going to bring evidence as it relates to, right, the information coming out of the court, right, where SSL became into play, right, as it relates to coming from Paul Cheng Young and associates. So we are going to show that document, evidence of that document. Without any delay, let us get into cross-carry assumed courts of corporation. And we show the Jamaican people what we are talking about tonight. So I'm sharing this document, sharing the evidence as it relates to what led up to SSL today. So we are going to go in the history and reflect from history what caused SSL today. So this is the first document, my people, right? And we are going into a chronological sequence, bringing history to you, to the Jamaican people, right? Worldwide, as it relates to what led up to SSL today. Now, cross-carry assures Court of Corporation and Cheng Young Properties, Wednesday, May 23, 2007. The Supreme Court has lifted the injunction against you, cross-carry, in its capacity as trustee of Phoenix Noteholders Trust. The stockbroker has announced in a public statement, and people, this is about the 90s financial meltdown, what you cross-carry and Paul Cheng Young, right, involved in. And now we are here now seeing SSL, you understand, double down with that action as it relates to the 90s financial meltdown. Justice Marjorie Cole Smith had initially placed an injunction on cross-carry to May 10 and had given him 14 days to declare the locations of all assets held by him on behalf of Phoenix, whether in his own name or nominees. Cross-carry says he has given his undertaking to the court not to dispose of any assets held by the trust without notice or consent. The assets were frozen in mid-April on the application of Jamaica Solicitor General Michael Hilton, QC at the time, who had traced ownership of the properties held by Phoenix to Paul Cheng Young, former head of Collapse Eagle Group of Companies. The Miami court has since lifted the freeze on Cheng Young, which means he's free to transact business with them in that jurisdiction. Cross-carry said of his role in the trust that he acted purely in a representative capacity as trustee for a small group of investors who put up the funds to purchase houses. As trustee, he ensured that their investments were protected, right? The statement said, just like how he had ensured that SSL investors, right, protected. Same behavior, same behavior. The courts in Jamaica and further had barred Cheng Young and cross-carry for disposing of the assets on the application of Eagle Merchant Bank and Crown Eagle Life, two of Cheng Young's former companies commandeered by the Jamaican government at the advent of the financial sector meltdown. So I want people to understand that this is coming out of the financial sector meltdown with Paul Cheng Young and you cross-carry. You are going to see how SSL came alive, people. Cross-carry has again asserted that freezing order was not related to its securities, brokerage, stocks, and security limited. Here it is, people. Cross-carry has again asserted that the freezing order was not related to its security, brokerage, stocks, and security limited, formerly Paul Cheng Young and Associates. So people, we are telling you, this is how SSL now came alive, right? As it relates to, right, the company Paul Cheng Young and Associates, right? That came out of the financial meltdown. Hilton presented evidence to the Kingston and Miami court showing that Cheng Young, despite a court order on May 4, 2006, to declare his assets and not to deal with or dispose of any properties without approval, had transferred 19 properties to cross-carry on May 12. People, don't hear that? Pay attention to that. Let me read it over again because I want people to pay attention to that. in terms of the crookedness between Paul Cheng Young and Croskery, even although the court advised them, right, not to, right? So here it is, Hilton presented evidence for the Kingston and Miami courts showing that Cheng Young, despite a court order on May 4, 2006, to declare his assets and not to deal with or dispose of any properties without approval of the court, right? He disobeyed the court and do what? Transferred 19 properties to Croskery on May 12th. Just days after the judgment asked against him to pay over 900 million plus interest. 3 other properties were transferred to Croskery on May 24 and June 15 of that same year. The former legal boss also held 170 Florida properties in a company of which he was president, director, and treasurer. Right? Contempt of the court hearing against Cheng Young are set for July 5th. Right now, take it away. Now, okay. Let us, before we go any further, let us big up, of course, our brother, our comrade brother, MP candidate for East Portland, right? I mean, one of the best critical thinker, one of the best brain power, right, in the People's National Party. And I know I might just put Brother Isaac on the spot a little bit, right? Not because I don't want Isaac to expose too much of his strategy, you know.
Oh boy.
And take it and run with it, right? Brother Isaac, you have any KC? You brought in the KFC for us?
No. You see, when you're on the campaign trail, the fast food not gonna work for you, you know.
All right. Okay.
It's weak jellyback food, so we have to give it up.
All right, my brother. But let me say this, right? Isaac is doing a wonderful job in his constituency, right? Because he put education front and center, right? That is one of his mandates, his primary mandate, right? To educate the young generation, right? So that they can, of course, right, help themselves. And that is so wonderful. So tonight we want, persons who understand what Isaac Buchanan is doing, right? And to know that education is important, it is imperative, right? To help, right, in terms of, give some funding to the process. And so, Brother Isaac, right, I just want to just use a few minutes. But let me ask you, Brother Isaac, as it relates to your constituency, right? Because trust me, I'm seeing that you have a lot of confidence. But I want to ask you, what gives you this confidence as it relates to your mandate that you are pushing in East Portland?
All right, so my mandate right now, especially in relation to, first of all, Good Night, Mystic Sensation, not Pastor Ricky Music, Mr. Melting Pot himself, and Will Rattigan. Good night to your viewers, listeners, and anybody who is watching on the pseudo accounts, fake accounts, because they're very worried when I'm going from platform to platform. They're called labor rights. Anyway, let me go. Let me share something about confidence. When you're not a thief, when your motive is purely to uplift Jamaica, when your motive is acknowledgement that a failed Vision 2030 was on the basis of corruption, was on the basis that we are a developing country that is being raped, that is being destroyed by the political electorate for the last 9 years. The current government, the Jamaica Labour Party, led by Andrew Holness, who is now a doctor, or wherever it falls, you be the judge. Has caused major embarrassment to Jamaica. We are raised on the corruption index. Based on that, education and the future of our youth, the next generation, is at a serious threat. We are not in a position to compete with quality education because we have not paid attention to the electronic divide, the gap between electronic learning, digital learning, and where the world is. While other children everywhere else in the world is thinking about going to Mars, have gone in terms of incorporating technology to learn, Jamaican students are still trying to get a hold of basic education, teachers who are properly paid, who will be motivated to teach them. The school is your secondary place for more morality, for how the society will be shaped and what it will look like in the future. We still,
Robert, how are you?
we still have tradition. Rattigard, oh yeah, we still have traditional high schools where I can call one Campion. So we know what quality education looks like. No disrespect to the others. Nobody at Meadowbrook, don't be mad at me. I went there, so Ratty don't have to worry. But we still have the traditional high schools, and the schools in the surrounding areas are affected. What the first thing I observed when I went into Portland is the digital divide. It is not only unique to Portland, but the reality is, if you are a politician and you really care about the future of the nation, you cannot start with a political position, because the next generation has to be able to break this thing called party loyalty. We must create critical thinkers who can look as it is right now. When the prime minister says the economy is good, but the suicide rate is high, the basis of suicide is because people cannot find the financial footing to survive in a free and democratic country. You're going to see where problems lie. We talk about persons who do not have the moral authority to judge. Make statements like meet the judge or meet your maker, and you don't want to meet the judge, and you have no intentions to meet your maker. As I'm speaking to you right now, it might sound like I'm going round and round, but I want people to appreciate, from gerrymandering to no respect for women in the society. That is, a known woman beater was allowed to keep his position in parliament, has now returned to the folds of the government as a member of parliament representing that party. The messages that's being sent is that morality is dead. There have been, and I hear people send me videos all night. I think yesterday I saw Pastor Ricky on a program, and my name was being marred by a very unintellectual failed politician, but I won't go there.
I took him on at the end.
I saw that. I saw it, and I smiled, because we also have platforms where a lot of persons have no knowledge, capacity, or aptitude in particular areas, and they have a lot to talk about. They use ad hominem a lot. They attack people, and they make false comparisons. So what my confidence is this: I am a first-time candidate with many flaws. The flaws were from my juvenile days. Any conduct that I have ever participated or found myself in, I have paid significantly. I know what rehabilitation looks like. So if you want to compare me as an attorney and give me the standard as an attorney, I can say here, and people will be upset, but Dalrymple, a senior attorney, was allowed to steal from the government. Larceny by trickery, dishonesty. She pled guilty and simply paid a fine of $900,000, while her sister or family member was allowed to benefit from a vehicle concession. And nobody said anything. It is the heights of dishonesty, and she pled guilty. And the people might see it as nothing, but remember, we have a young man who spent years in prison for stealing, for larceny of ackee at the Governor General's residence to cure his hunger. And so we cannot continue to have a two Jamaica existing at the same time. My confidence comes in the context of Portland Eastern, because the people who are prideful and ambitious and have found a way to make life for themselves is being disenfranchised by the current government. We have a place called Blue Lagoon that was given to a hotel tycoon, Adam Stewart. No disrespect to the contribution of his father and himself for tourism, but you have taken Blue Lagoon, which is a breadwinner for a lot of young men from the fishing community, the rafting community, the tourism community, Portland being the first. And the current MP and her husband have property on that corridor where the people aren't allowed to participate. The locals aren't allowed to participate. They're not allowed on the island, but you see the friends of the elite class are allowed to have their motor boats and their rafts and use the space, a space that is I have maintained is one of the reasons why crime is so low in Portland. And ironically, they have taken all the spaces, they, as in the government, have caused all the spaces that make Portland unique and important to the people, where you don't even need stoplights. They have taken it from the people. And yesterday, a gun crime was committed simultaneously with another violent crime. Haitians were fighting, one person died, and a young man died right beside the member of parliament's office. A most unfortunate crime. I've had conversations with the man who lost his wife and his family and his mother who is grieving. Why is this important? Because as you continue to disenfranchise the people, do not educate them. It is the same member of parliament who gave advice to young people that you can still rub out your hand middle and not set the moral standard and not set the ambition as high. So I'm there to say, listen, if you want to say what it is for rehabilitation and redemption and what as a society we should want for our children, I am somebody's child, and notwithstanding what life has done to me, I've become an accomplished attorney. We should want that for every mother, father, and family who have kids to want the best. And that is the standard I am looking for. So I've taken the initiative to say, listen, every child should have a tablet. Every child should be able to go on YouTube, go on Google, have their email, receive the work from their teachers and their schools. Rain, sun, or shine, they must have the device, and this is the starting point. So the initiative is not, I have never, and unlike my opponent, who when you go to the office, you have to bring your voter's ID and they have to determine if you're a PNP or JLP before you get a benefit. I do not even need to meet the parents. If the grandparent come, if the auntie come, once a child is present, they get the tablet. And I don't ask, who are you, where are you voting, because children don't vote. And so I'm committed to completing my 3,000 tablets by the end of March. The tablet drive, which is a pay-per-view event on the 22nd of February, that's this Saturday, as well as a black tie affair. So we have the people in the diaspora. If you have family, you can pay for the tickets, send them to the event, and you have a 15,000, which is the regular, 25,000 VIP, and 50,000 VVIP. You can scan, make the payments, and the tickets are available at the gate, or we deliver it to you. For the pay-per-view, you can, I don't know if you have that one, because the diaspora can watch it for $49.99, all proceeds go to the tablet drive. You simply go to www.thecodanetwork.com. You download the stream and you can watch it. There will be entertainment. George Nooks, I think, Big Youth, a young artist, ISAT, I think that is his name, son of Big Youth. And other persons, Kiprich, I know he was on it. He's to perform, and more than anything, I'm looking forward to Kiprich perform because he has been a political victim because he declared his hand as a PNP, and he's a brave young man. He doesn't pussyfoot and just business and afraid to declare his hand in keeping with the Constitution. And so I'm supporting him because there was an attack on his freedom of expression. I have said in the space that for him, we need to, once again, the government being a serial constitutional breacher, we have to show them and educate them of their continued incompetence. And I take shots at the government every time I get, because they come in like Lombard people. You have to take shots at them. That's how it works. And so I've said a mouthful, but I'm looking forward to your listeners and your viewers to support the stream.
Yes.
Support the tablet drive. Geotech is the company that has come on board, and they have allowed me to date to issue 720 tablets, and I have in my possession, and not counting the ones that Mr. Rattigan have in his possession and cobwebs growing on them, and then don't ship them to me yet. But I think I am at 800 tablets, and the goal is 3,000, and that's just a start. And it's something that has to be fulfilled before election, and is in my mind, it's not connected to the fact that I am the MP, but I'm in the space. I see it. I've always been connected to the diaspora through the Will Rattigan show. It is a community that has rescued me when there was an attempt to suspend me and destroy my legal career. And here I am now asking for the same love and support for the young people of Portland Eastern. And I can tell you the pride that they feel when they receive a tablet, especially because the parents have to choose between purchasing a tablet or purchasing water from the Member of Parliament's water truck at a cost of $9,000.
Wow.
To fill their tanks. So these are the realities, and I'm here to mash down anything that's breakable. Cup, vase.
All right.
I'm shattering everything and ensuring that I uplift the people and definitely uplift the lives of the children. So I thank you for giving me the platform to talk, to speak about it, and I hope that the viewers will contribute and attend on the night, the event. And I hope you guys will be there by downloading the stream and support.
Of course, you have to support it, ISAT. No doubt about that.
Need to watch that artist ISAT him performing. I hear it's really good.
What?
Good. Coming from the veteran.
Yeah, coming from the veteran, son of Big Youth. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that, ISAT. And let me say, Portland, trust me, you are getting a God gift son, right? Who is going to offer service, solid service, when he is, of course, in government. And ISAT Buchanan, right? We guarantee that, of course, is going to be the victor of that constituency. No doubt about that. Right now,
I just want to address one thing, because there's real quick, please.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing the comments and I just had the opportunity to see it. Listen, let me tell you something. Where constitutional amendment is concerned, I am doubling down on the fact that the Jamaica Labour Party does not have the constitutional competence to lead us into a republic. There is no consideration of the inclusion of the diaspora, and Mark Golden has been the only person that see a workable fix to include the diaspora. Certainly, when I win my seat and as I navigate the space in the next PNP government, I do not see Jamaica existing without you, the diaspora. And I think that the conversation will be a lot more palatable than the representative that they have sent to be your consulate in many different spaces. And I think that what it would look like in terms of absentee ballots and appreciating that the people who left Jamaica was because they understood from the 1980 election and the violence that took place then that Jamaica has always been a high crime society, and it is the people who have had to have a better life, just like had to look for a better life, and the remittance that comes from the diaspora and the children who are called barrel children, they would not have survived without you. And so even in the space where Donald Trump are deporting people, we must recognize that legally, illegally, how people left for a better life, that they didn't leave because they wanted to. They leave because they had to for a better life. And it is always the dream for everybody to come back. And for that reason, the interest is what the Constitution should look like, and the ability to vote. Just like in America, they have absentee ballots. You could be in Japan, your vote is important. And that is what is important in terms of looking at a new constitution and the interests of all Jamaicans. There are more of you outside of Jamaica that actually in Jamaica, and we need to think about what the interest of Jamaica is if we're going to have a better Jamaica. And thank you.
Yes, well said. I'm glad ISAT right is saying to us as it relates to the People's National Party mandate, right, looking forward to involve, right, the diaspora, right, and well said. I really love that. But I want to support ISAT information as it relates to where the corruption perception index as it relates to Andrew Holness administration. I know that, okay, the panel, we are anticipating, we have Melting Pot, we have Ratigan, Pastor Ricky will be coming back in the space shortly. But let us support that ISAT is just not just talking, right? That talking is concrete, that talking is factual as it relates to Andrew Holness administration, as it relates to external entity, is saying that Jamaica lost 4 points downwards in the corruption index. That is peaking, right? Real serious about the Andrew Holness-led administration, and we are going to get into SSL afterwards. So without any delay, let us show the people the corruption perception index, right, to prove what ISAT said as it relates to this particular administration. No other administration, this particular administration. Amazing. All right, so people, here it is, right, where Jamaica is 40, right, and the corruption index is actually saying 40.3. So we are showing that, right, where it dropped from 44 to 40, 4 places down under the Andrew Holness, right, led administration. And here it is. Government sometimes manipulate GDP data, for example, right? The GDP data can be manipulated through the calculation of the price indexes. They can start publishing important data, right? Try to, the transparency corruption index, right? Okay, the World Economic has converted the ranking data into an index and scale from 0 to 100, where 0 is absolute corruption and 100 is no perception, right, of government corruption. So anything 50 downwards is extremely corrupt. Just want to prove that. All right. Now, let us move on. Right. Remember that we reflect the documentation as it relates to cross-carry involvement. So I want to capture the minds of Jamaicans who are tuning in to show you where SSL is coming from. So SSL rise out of Paul Cheng Young and Associates, as we have seen, right, the evidence where that is. Now, not only that SSL, right, came out of Paul Cheng Young and Associates. Now, SSL, it is the Jamaica Labour Party administration who have given SSL license, knowing to the fact that SSL, right, had so many breaches as it relates to FSC, the Financial Service Commission, which the government have knowledge that SSL has been stealing people's money. Now, I am going to go to a next document. Then I am going to get to the panel. We are just going to take it one step at a time, chronological sequence. So we show the background as it relates to where SSL is coming from out of the 90s financial meltdown and the wrong that they had done investors, right, in that history, in that era, where they had robbed several investors and purchased properties in Miami, and where Paul Cheng Young had given 19 properties to who? You cross-carry, to hide them. So then we have seen the similar situation as it relates to SSL. And who is a part of SSL? Cross-carry, the CEO of SSL. Judging back as it relates to the 90s financial meltdown. Now let us show the series of breaches that SSL, right, had done, and where the government looked left, right, without correcting SSL, knowing to the fact, the reason why they look left, it could be no other reason that the Prime Minister has, right, what we call so-called account in SSL, and that's why we need the investigation, because we are not seeing any evidence, let me say that, as it relates to the Integrity Commission investigators, no evidence where the Prime Minister took money, you understand, from any of his 28 accounts, right, and put in SSL originally within 2008. What we had known for sure, based on evidence, facts, that the Prime Minister, right, and Nigel Clark, because Nigel Clark is the finance minister and he has to sign in agreement to these things, that the Prime Minister take the NIS money, NHC money, tax money, and all taxpayers' money and put it into SSL, knowing to the fact that SSL is a Ponzi scheme. So we ask, why did the Prime Minister have done that, knowing to the fact, have the knowledge, cognizant, aware that SSL was a Ponzi scheme, but yet he took taxpayers' money and put it into SSL. Now, not Mr. Sensation is saying that. Let us get into the facts and then we go to the panel. All right, without any delay, let us bring up this document. Advocacy group urges vigilance in light of SSL scandal. Let us show people the evidence that we are going into. Now, hear it, people. Now, this is the Loop Jamaican News. Advocacy group urges vigilance in light of SSL scandal. January 26, 2023. Let us get into it, people. The Advocates Network is calling for vigilance to avoid what it calls disastrous repeat of the unfolding multi-million-dollar scandal at Stocks and Security Limited, SSL. The AIM reminds the public that in 1973, just like the document that I presented, they are referencing now the Paul Cheng document that I just read. Paul Cheng Young and Company, right, Limited, a member of Dr. Paul Cheng Young Eagle Group, was created and later renamed SSL in 2006. People, I want you to see the evidence. I want you to see the evidence where SSL came from. Evidence number one. So that SSL, right, renamed in 2006. Andrew Holness joined SSL 2 years after it was renamed. 2 years after it was renamed. Andrew Holness joined SSL 2008. People, I want you to follow me tonight. According to AN, since then, it has been a 50-year saga of mismanagement of SSL among other financial institutions. So when we talk about 50 years saga, right, among other financial institutions, costing taxpayers what? 14.70 billion during the 1990s. When you hear that, people? Significantly, no director was held accountable for the breach of their fiduciary responsibility that has ruined not only countless businesses, especially MSMEs, but also devastated the lives of untold individuals, including pensioners who lost their entire life savings are released from the network said. Right? The network said 50 years later, history is about to repeat itself. According to the Financial Service Commission, right, SSL breached all regulations governing the security industries. People don't hear that? SSL breached all the regulations governing the security industry. And its license was threatened with suspension in 2017. 2017. But no action was taken. Andrew Holness administration had taken no action. The SSL saga raises several important issues that we urge Jamaicans to pursue through active advocacy to prevent further financial losses to taxpayers and further devastation of business and livelihoods. AN said there are at least 3 issues of primary concerns. Bulletin point number 1, sanctions for breach of fiduciary responsibilities by directors of private companies. One director who has been at the head of SSL and its predecessors, right, limited over the past 50 years is Hugh Croskery. People, here is Hugh Croskery, right, executive chairman of SSL. Does Croskery and other directors of SSL meet the fit and proper standards required under the Companies Act? Will anyone be held accountable for breach of their fiduciary responsibilities? So Andrew Holness administration had known everything about Hugh Croskery from in the Paul Cheng Young and Associate era. But yet, they had given him license as it relates to SSL. Now, the FSC is the government supervisor for the life insurance, general insurance, pensions, securities, and mutual funds industries, along with the stock exchange. They supervise approximately $7 trillion, $7 trillion of Jamaican dollars, including several retirement funds, representing 285.71% of Jamaica's GDP. Bulletin point number 3. The size and coverage of its supervision are significant and therefore demand the highest standard of transparency and accountability, including ministerial oversight, which wasn't given to SSL to give confidence to the Jamaican people that its financial transactions are safe. And the AN again encouraged the government to ensure that all public sector boards comply with the Public Sector Bodies Management and Accountability Act and its regulation And in the case of FSC, the Financial Service Commission Act, there is Mark Croskery. The network ad is the political connection between Jackie Stewart Lecturer, FSC chairman between 2017 people and 2021, which could explain the inaction of the FSC in suspending the license of SSL since 2017. People want to understand this, that they allow this to damage over 200 and odd clients. Right? Here it is, with no apparent qualifications for the position. Her appointment continues to raise troubling concerns about appointment to public sector boards based on political connections rather than competence. It also raises vexing issues about the nexus between big money and politics and the high levels of corruption, the network said. To avoid repetition of this troubling debacle, the AN calls on Jamaica to stay alert and pay close attention to SSL saga as it unfolds. Jamaica must actively hold political leaders accountable and ensure that the law is applied equally to all, despite political connections, color, class, or race. The network release said, take it away and let us go to the panel. So, all right. I'm going to begin with Pastor Ricky first, right? Pastor Ricky.
Yes.
Right? SSL coming out of the 90s financial meltdown debacle, where the government aware of what took place. However, SSL camouflaged itself, right, by changing the name Paul Chenyong and Associate,
right,
and converted into SSL in 2006. Okay, we know that very well, that SSL having the series, the history of problems of misappropriating clients' money. We could rightly say that SSL would define as a Ponzi scheme. And let me set the argument straight tonight. When I said that Andrew Onless doesn't have an ordinary account in SSL, let me explain it in the length and breadth before Pastor Ricky come in. I simply means, based on how we see Andrew Onless getting into SSL and taking money out of SSL, right? We know that SSL, for one, wasn't investing. How do we know that? We know that because, of course, over 200 accounts being pilfered.
Yeah, it was a reserve.
Totalized to about 4.5 billion Jamaican dollars. So obviously, SSL was not investing. We know how SSL got onto the stock market as it relates to a reverse takeover.
Yeah.
A company by the name of DSW, you understand, that's facilitated by FSC and JSE, who facilitated them under the Andrew Onless administration to go on the Jamaica Stock Exchange to make it seem like they are legitimate. But they were a Ponzi scheme. They were stealing clients' money, right, as we see the evidence now. Now let me ask Pastor Ricky, based on what you have seen here, and let me explain it straight. Now we know that Andrew Onless claimed that he had got return on investment. But the question that we're asking, how could Andrew Onless got return on investment if SSL wasn't investing? Trying to prove SSL was investing. Over 200 accounts being pilfered. I will say no more. Pastor Ricky, what say you?
Yeah, Professor Byron, you hit the hammer on the nail. SSL is a Ponzi scheme that was birthed into in fraudulent means to steal investors' funds. As you eloquently stated, they got on the stock exchange, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, as a result of a reverse takeover of C2W Music, right? C2W Music, which they did not want that deal with SSL, but somehow it came to fruition, and SSL appears now to be trading stock, but they weren't, as a result of the reverse takeover to make it look legitimate, to deceive investors, and then they make it lucrative with some deals that, if my recollection serves me well, on your return on your investment, your ROI, return on your investment, will yield at least 100 to 20%. I mean, the way they make it lucrative, it was hard for anyone to resist that Ponzi scheme. And so they, as you said, Paul Cheng Yang and Associate, another Ponzi scheme before SSL, led by you, Croskery, they liquidate their assets. And then in 2006, as you stated, formulate and launch SSL, a Ponzi scheme to rip people off. And so when they came to make it appears as if they're going to do trading and investment, but set up some fake accounts and give out false statements, because the statements, although it might have shown interest accruing based upon your deposit, what you invested, the truth of the matter and the reality was it was not real. And so many investors like Usain Bolt was scammed into this scheme. And then what makes it so even worse, 31 million US dollars got caught up into this scheme. And then also when you look at government agency like NHT, NIS, the boat, banana boat, and other government agency, I think it was about 7 of them that got pulled into this scheme of taxpayers' money. Now, when Michael Manley, former Prime Minister Michael Manley, invented or established NHT, it was not to put it to invest into any kind of schemes. That was to help people to pay a tax so that it can accrue one day, and then they will be able to pull from it to be able to buy an affordable home. But this criminal who we have as a prime minister collaborated and colluded with criminals like himself, because criminal minds think alike, and they came into this plot of how they will take SSL to make it legitimate on the stock market, so that way they can use this as leverage to lure investors into this scheme and to defraud them. And so it was not legitimate, and we're now seeing the consequences of around 200 account holders, including the great iconic sprint legend Usain Bolt, that was ripped off. The money was stolen, 4.5 billion. Also, which is also 31 million US dollar that's tied up into this Ponzi scheme. And the prime minister had an account. He needs to come to the microphone, since he likes to do PR, and he's worried about his image and how he's been perceived in the public. This is an opportunity for him to come to the microphone and the cameras and just level with the Jamaica people. He's trying not to do that to save himself from being incriminated, or in the words that will use against him in the court of law. But he needs to come to the Jamaica people, because this is a major scandal. This is the mother of all steal. This is the mother of all scandal, the greatest heist of U.S. currency and taxpayers' money in the whole history of Jamaica. And he needs to come and talk to the Jamaica people. He should not be on the ballot as an MP, and he should not be run to be Prime Minister of Jamaica until this is clear up. Back over to you.
Okay, very good. I love that input right there. Okay, so Melting Pot, come right in the space because you know you're there observing, right? Please go ahead, Melting Pot, in terms of what we have here.
Yes, I just want to, reiterate the whole SSL saga and going back from the inception, from what we have looking at documentation and what we are coming out of the grapevine. You could see that this was a carefully orchestrated and formulated corruption that these, so-called director of SSL and government official plot to carry out against the Jamaican investors. Because if you remember, when the news break into the public sphere, it took the Prime Minister about 2 weeks before him come out and make a public speech on the matter. And I mean, he didn't come out of his own initiative. It was pressure from the Jamaica public and, social media that brought him to the platform. And what he said at the time, it still confused me. Because the Prime Minister said, why take him so long to come out and give a speech on the matter? It's the fact that he had to be certain of the information. Because when him speak with authority and his conversation is unassailable, that means it cannot be challenged.
Okay.
But then, here is the same Prime Minister who is closely involved with SSL as related to him putting in government funding from the agency, then the respective agency into SSL, as it related to him having money transferred from SSL into bank account that he took out 10 days prior to the money going in there. So right away the Prime Minister lied. He deceived the public at large. And, in that same period of time, the former Minister of Finance, Jeannette Calder, also was making some statement that didn't add up at the time. Because he said that there was FBI on the ground. There was no FBI, as Mr. McLaughlin rightly pointed out. And I mean, Jeannette Calder used some expressive word like, intensified report and, investigation, and that it's ramping up and even more than Jeannette Calder even anticipate. So Jeannette Calder fabricate the story as if the government were not involved and were actively pursuing the investigation using the best investigator that they could find at their disposal as it related to FBI and other counterparts. But all of that was a lie. So why did these people have to lie on a topic if they are not involved? If these people were not involved, they wouldn't be lying, These people would come out clean to the public at large. They would be digging for information to get to who is the perpetrator of SSL. So right there and done, from you look at the case, you know that Andrew Wall is involved right up to your neck. Jeannette Calder involved. Because all of them get the report from FSC as it related to how SSL was operating with its investors fund. So SSL was red flag. But none of these people, care to apply the right measure by seizing their license to operate. Because they should have been wind up, and fully investigated. And you clamp on for asset, and if you find that then the investor's money is not there, You use them asset to compensate the investors. But none of this went on. And when you look back on, the sequence of events, it dates all the way back to 50 years, as the report just said. Because this is the child of Eagle Merchant Bank, SSL. The CEO practically remained the same. Because during the period when Paul Chen Young was the main man, Hugh Crosby was his right hand.
Exactly.
Hugh Crosby was doing all the hiding and the covering up of the loot. Because Hugh Crosby, to many people, was not the main man. It was Paul Chen Young then. So what Paul Chen Young did was just to push the thing into Hugh Crosby hands as it related to the 19 apartment in Florida.
Yes.
So we are seeing that it's the same demographic of crime that has been committed again. Because when you look, the formulated their strategy, you could see a finance minister in the picture. You could see a prime minister in the picture, and you could see a banker in the picture. And then the CEO as well. So what it is now is that Andrew Holness replaced Edward Seago in the picture as the prime minister. Nigel Clark replaced Ardley Shaw as the finance minister. Michael Lee Chin replaced Dan Crawford as the banker. And Hugh Crosby replaced Paul Chin Young as the CEO. And them carry out the same type of crime. Lightning strike twice,
Wonderful analogy. Perfect
Lightning
analogy.
strike twice. So there's no way, shape, or form that Andrew Holness should not be held accountable. Because Andrew Holness was privy to all the information coming out of Paul Chen Young from the 1990s meltdown. Knowing who are the stake players it relate to Hugh Crosby. Yeah. And Andrew still get mixed up. So we see where Andrew Holness now becomes the mastermind this time around. Yeah. And if you look at all the irregularities as it relates to the banking system and what we revealed from what was taking place. Was the bank account open with no money attached to it?
Yes.
But $143,000 US, totaling $22 million, was placed in that said bank account 10 years after. But why would the Prime Minister choose to open a new bank account if he was doing investment business with them? Because it's the very first bank account that you use to invest with SSL. When you are getting your return, that's the bank account it would go back into. But what we see now is that the Prime Minister, after having 27 bank accounts, decided to add one more to make it 28. Why did Andrew Holness have to add one more bank account than the 27? Because Andrew Holness now want to make it look like, nothing was going on from, Saltfish or Shingle from way back when. It make it look like something new now, like it's a new development. But Andrew Holness involved with these criminal activists over a period of time.
Perfect. Right.
Andrew Holness navel string cut on greed,
Perfect.
Greed.
Right. Perfect, right.
You understand? All our DNA is all about greed. So
exactly.
Here it is now. Some section of the society now trying to, lend the support to Andrew Holness when it should be the icon them defending. The icon work really hard for this money.
Yeah.
The icon make a lot of sacrifice. And yes, and what is fundamental that a lot of people is not looking at. When Usain Bolt win all these medals at Olympic and World Championship, the Jamaica Athletics Association, which is a part of the government, they make a lot of millions of dollars. It's not like Usain Bolt run for himself, you know.
Yes.
The country were benefiting already from Usain Bolt and the rest of athletes. So these sportsmen and women of Jamaica should be held in high esteem and treated with the utmost respect, rather than our Prime Minister and his friend trying to defraud these people.
All right.
This is not what we are looking for from a Prime Minister who promised the Jamaican people so much, but failed to deliver. So we are now having to question the Prime Minister of his involvement in SSL. And what we are asking him to do is to come and outline to the Jamaican people at large, yes, home and abroad, what was his role in SSL? Why did it take him so much time before him come out and make a presentation on the topic of the scandal coming out of SSL? Why we are seeing now people making various assumptions as it relates to even the People's National Party having involvement in Usain Bolt money? Because remember, you know, Andrew only said he had to come when he have everything on point to deliver to the Jamaican people. But when he came out, he never mentioned anything about the People's National Party being involved. So why now we are hearing that the People's National Party is involved?
Madness.
The People's National Party, if Andrew Wallace and his minion want to know, is a credible party that is built on moral trust and principle. The foundation was crafted and laid by the great leader, Joshua Michael Manley, and integrity is a part of the People's National Party DNA. So the People's National Party never find themselves in all these type of bangarangs. Anytime Jamaica is being defrauded by ministerial personnel, it's always coming from the Jamaica Labour Party. And we are saying to them now it's full time.
Yes.
Full time them cut out these type of shenanigans in the country. Because
From
it's not helping the country.
From 1956 upwards.
Yeah, it's not helping the country. It's damaging the country. It is also painting a picture on the society. The Prime Minister is telling everybody now, based on what they have, the statute of limitation, that you can steal and hide it for a period of time, and if them even find out you can't, nothing can happen to you because time elapsed. And this is what they are using at their disposal. But we want to make them realize and understand that we won't let go of this SSL saga until Usain Bolt and the other 200 investors get back their money. Because the money is in the hands of criminals. Andrew Holness and his counterpart had benefited immensely from Usain Bolt putting in that 12.7 million US dollars. That's what popped their eye wide open, you know, when that large influx of money coming in. That's why they started all their business around about the same time. And I yield back to another member of the panel.
All right, thank you for that. For Brother ISAT, I really don't want ISAT to participate as it relates to this issue in your town. I have to keep Comrade Brother preserved and protected.
Yes.
Well, I know you're saying that, but I want to tell you something about why context matters.
Yes.
This is a very convoluted issue that has embarrassed the public. Any government must allow public confidence.
True.
There are a large number of persons who support the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is a celebrity, just as Bolt is a celebrity. If the Prime Minister is doing business with an organization and the Prime Minister is responsible for saying the economy is good, trust this. You can have a big house like me and they will bad mind you for your house.
Mm-hmm.
Here is how I do it. I put money in an institution and I make investments. And I'm an investment juggernaut. And this is how it's done. And people follow and they have conversations in their heavens, in their head. And so, well, if the prime minister is doing it, it works.
Yes.
If Bolt is doing it, it has to work. So it's not just the SSL, but it is the players. Because this is the same prime minister that is saying, I've put the highway thing on the stock market and the government is putting your tax dollars in an investment and it is for the benefit of the people. And the shame and scandal that comes with it forfeits this government. And the reality is, I've seen the girl's name is the woman's name. Let me not say girl, so somebody say I'm convinced. Venetia, like a syndicate, she attacked a national icon, possibly when we are no longer here, a national hero. And she victim shame somebody who worked hard for his money, trained hard, worked hard, and a son of Jamaica that made us proud. And many other persons are saying we shouldn't be responsible. But if government led by the prime minister is an indicator of an establishment that is a legitimate one, and it turns out not to be legitimate, on a moral standard, he has forfeit his right to lead this country. He has not said at a minimum I made a mistake. He has provided, he's not accountable. And so I don't need him to come on a podium and tell any more lies. I will never believe anything he says. Okay. And I'm making that clear that in the next election, and a budget was read, and then Flavor, this is her thing, you know, because she's a horrible education minister. So she gets a break and an opportunity to redeem herself. And she read the budget and she never said, I allocate this amount of money to pay back Bolt. So we could have cost Bolt to say, look how we have to take the taxpayers' money and pay you back. Bolt up out of here. They did nothing. They did nothing for the victims. They did nothing to inject public confidence. And so that's my only contribution. That's on the issue of causation, but not for the prime minister making the public feel that SSL was legitimate, especially knowing that as far back as 2017, there were issues. We would not be having this conversation. It is not an issue that in an election year, if it goes unresolved, that this party can continue with Andrew Holness as the head of the party and say, vote for me. And that's all I will say on that. It's a matter for the people. Who have eyes, let them see. He who have ears, let them hear. And I depart on that. And also ask your viewers, support the education fund and the tablet drive on February 20th. Definitely. I really hope to see you guys.
Please, we are asking you, right, to make sure support the worthy cause, right? We are talking about the children, right? They are going to be the man of tomorrow, the man and women of tomorrow, right? And what ISAT is doing, putting education to the front and center of his mandate, right? Which is awesome, right? And let me say this in terms of where I'm getting. Jamaica need to wake up. Right? We don't want to make sure that, okay, when we go to the poll, right, we have a person with schizophrenia, continuing the politics, right? That when, if a road being, being constructed, that person run out, we do the road, and all of that. We don't want it.
You mean right? That person don't do the right thing on Barbara Green, but lay a carpet?
But lay a carpet, and then after the rainfall, the carpet gone. But not said because we want to juggle down with this, we want to stay in SSL, and you know that we leave the fire tick. If you notice, we leave the fire tick for last year. See, fire tick back in Nigeria, right? So, Brother Rattigan.
I'm going to depart now, so good night all.
Yeah, blessed,
brother. Blessed, respect.
Of respect.
Pass through. All right. Brother Isaac.
Well, that ISAT ain't gone. I was just going to tell him that because them say, you know, those who have eyes to see, let them see, those who have ears to see. I was going to tell him that the good book said, seeing they see not, hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And that's why we have a program like this. But let me just say that Shakespeare wrote a play, The Tempest, and it says, what's past, in it he said, what's past is prologue. Essentially saying that history will set the context for the present. What do I mean by that? If you go back to ADMAT and even before ADMAT, it was clear what this prime minister was about. It was clear. So
yes,
nothing he's doing is stunning. You know what I mean? The only thing about it is that he has become emboldened over the years. And why? Because there has been no impediment to stop him. So him just continue doing Wemado. But Wemado is not really shocking because we can go back and look in history and see where he is today and say, this is an easy forecast. And if you look at his past to see where he is right now. Now, after listening to you, Mystic, Melting Pot, ISAT, and Pastor Ricky, there's nothing more I can add to in fact, I've been educated by the things that you have said, not just only tonight, but previous to tonight. So I can't add anything to what you've said, except that just will take up time, which is not necessary. Here's where I'd like to focus. We know the history of this man. We know the circumstances surrounding this huge fraud, Ponzi scheme. Call it whatever you will. It wasn't what it was advertised. Right? It was advertised as an investment scheme, and I don't even like the word scheme, find anything legitimate. But anyway, it turned out to be something else. And I'm looking at, okay, now that we have this vast amount of knowledge and we can connect the dots and we know exactly what happened, how it happened, who's involved, the next step for me is, okay, what are we going to do about it? You know, it reminds me of one of the things we used to say in the FBI when we did intelligence work is, what do you know? What don't you know? And what will you do about addressing what you don't know? Because you do know sometimes what you don't know, you know. People might say, if you don't know, you don't know. But no, you know sometimes what you don't know. And the trick is, how do you acquire that information? Check that box off so you know. So I'm looking at it like, okay, how do we get back Bull's money and the other investors' money? And how do we impose consequences on those responsible? Because we can't make them get scot-free.
No.
We just, there has to be some penalty attached to it.
Yes. And
as I said last week, no one is going to come forth. This is my prediction. No one is going to come forth and say, you know what, Icon, here's a $12.75 million. Because that is going to cast a huge spotlight on that person. You know, like where, why, you know, how, you know, where you get the money from, why you give him, blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants that. And so they're not going to give him back his money. And if they try to give it to him under the table, like buy a piece of property and then, you know, deed it to him or whatever, people go and find that out because it's a matter of public record. So they're going to find out. So he's not going to get his money back that way. So here's what I'm telling the Icon now. Icon, if you listen carefully to Melting Pot and Pastor Ricky and ISAT and Mystic Sensation, you have a good sense of what went on. You have a very good sense of what went on. This is accumulated knowledge. So here's what I suggest you do now, Icon. You need to call me. Call me, Icon. Because there's a way that we can get your money back. And it won't be through law enforcement or intelligence services personnel in Jamaica. No, this is going to require assistance from outside of Jamaica. You will not get your money back by just going to SSL and doing this and talking to the Prime Minister. You're not get you. What you will get is more of what you have gotten over the past 2 years. Promises. You know why? Because I'm taking you for a fool. That's simple. Them look at him and say, country boy, I come and him run in our circle. I could just take a money off him and make him go sit on one side, man. They wouldn't do that to them own, you know. They not do that to them own. But you see what happens is that sometimes what we do is we mistake athletic prowess we believe that certain things that we do are we successful at it, that certain clicks, then we accept us in there. They only accept you for rob you. They're not accepting you to keep you. By the way, don't forget, you remember when him did live up there? When the people start complaining, I want him move out of the neighborhood. Who was it? It was one of them singer, them wife. I say, him for go back where him come from. And I remember?
Sean Paul, right?
Yeah, I remember Shafi apologized to him. Shafi apologized.
Because them say my heads up.
See there?
Them say my heads up.
Yeah. So we have to do now.
They know them never accept him from the outside.
Them never accept him. Them never accept him. Them accept him athletic prowess and when bring to Jamaica. But if Bolt was just an ordinary guy, them no want him there. Them no want him there. So when I forgot to know, you know I forgot to know. Him have to get representation outside of the country now. Who are gonna say, okay, sit down now. Tell me your side of the story. And somebody who know, I'm going to listen to a mistake, listen to a Pastor Ricky, listen to a melting pot, listen to ISAT and say, all right, let me put the stories them together and now follow me. We are going to go now and we are going to seek real investigation of your matter. And then you bring in who you need to bring in. Because at the end of the day, people remember that money touched the fast system.
Yeah.
Which is the American banking system. And that's all them need for jurisdiction. And them don't have to come to Jamaica to do the investigation. They stay right here and do the investigation. And then what we do, we just say, hey, you know what, State Department, we invite all of these people here for a big party in Jamaica, in Washington, D.C. for Jamaica. And when them come and just bang up the whole of them, they're not worried about the extradition. There are lots of ways they can do it. Lots of ways. You don't have to do it in America. You invite them Panama, you invite them
anywhere.
Anywhere you invite them.
Yeah.
They are going to go. Right now, we know them and say them now.
Well, Sir Rattigan, them have Nigel in a DC now, so them can flip him first and get information out of him. And then use it for continue them in capture who them want to capture and bangle them up.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
All right. Okay.
And it's easy to pursue Nigel Clark because film statement at the outset was false, a bare lie. He even tell lie on FBI. So it must be a reason why I'm telling a lie on FBI.
You shall knock him up just for that.
All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember earlier when we started, we said we are going to bring the lava. Because what you just seen on the smoke, we are going to get the lava going down. But before we venture into the lava, earlier, Sister Pat called the station and spoke about Portmore. Pandemonium in Portmore. Let us give a look at 4 minutes preview. This is like what we call it, an intermission. This is like an intermission before we get into the lava, because we are getting at the lava tonight. And where people are going to definitely see that, okay, all right, SSL is a state crime, and we're going to show you the players and why we said Andrew Ones is the primary mastermind. Now, so we are going to prove that. We are going to prove that with evidence. Now, let us give the preview as it relates to what is going on in Portmore, and then we get into that.
And I apologize. I was having computer problems, man.
No, that's okay. Pastor Ricky.
We are not going any further. We are not going any further. We are not going any further. Minister, really the people. Minister. Okay.
We've been waiting on this for a whole year, Sir Rattigan. Jamaica to rise up.
True.
About time, man.
All right, okay. Second down. Okay, second down. Come up to seat. Hello, let me just say, protected by the police. Come to seat.
No, just let me just speak on this.
I am glad, man.
It is the same Prime Minister
About
who showed on the political campaign in Montego Bay. So when they go low, we go high. And that is the way how, right, they are going high. Come on, it's a shame and disgrace.
Yeah, man.
As it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party, right, contributing to violence. Right, you have seen situation as it relates to the Eventide home, right, where that violence portrayed, right, where we have over 150 elderly died, right? And so then, guess what? When it comes to the Jamaica Labour Party, right, what we are to expect? Right?
Violence producer.
They are violence producer. Now, since I'm seeing indication of this, we are reminding you that we are still remember of the 320 pipe bombs, right? That you claim, that JLP claim that they found, and we can't hear nothing about those 320 pipe bombs. We are not going to tolerate another Eventide because we see what is happening in it.
Yeah.
Because they know that, as a matter of fact, what I'm going to cover tonight is going to show Jamaica how corrupt this GLP administration is. We are going to take the people so that even a 5 years old can understand what I'm going to present tonight, and to show the clear corruption as it relates to entrepreneurs. Premeditatedly, plan to execute evil on the Jamaican people. This is the reason why Andrew Holness did not sign the code of conduct. Let us get that out there clear. Now we are going to begin and show you how a narcissist behave. Right? A narcissist will take all of his wrongdoing, right, and want to put it on someone else. A narcissist never take responsibility of their wrongdoing. Right? So we are going to show you a narcissist in action. Right? Without any delay, we are going to lift up, as I promised the people, that we are going to present, right, a laugher tonight. Now, without any delay, let us go into, I hate to say. Let us listen him. Let us parade him. Because we are going to pull out all the proof tonight. Let us listen to it. Let us listen to this narcissist. Let us listen to this narcissist.
The bad mind the Jamaica Labour Party for its performance. The bad mind the Jamaica Labour Party for our achievements. And they are bad minding us for doing things that you have always wanted the government to do. And when they had power for all this time, they never do it. And as soon as we start to do it, they try to turn the good into bad. They are a bad mind set of people. So we have been doing what the people want us to do. We have been fulfilling the social consciousness and social conscience of the people of Jamaica, who say everybody should have a good house to live in. Remember, you know, them did bad mind about my house. And when you give me the chance, they say, you know what, we have to make sure that every Jamaican have a good house to live in. And we have administered the affairs of the nation such that we can deliver that promise. And as I stand here today, I tell all of you who are gathered and everybody who is listening, put that on YouTube and TikTok, that under my administration, every Jamaican will have decent shelter to live in. That is not a promise. That is a commitment. Some of you even here will say, here goes the politician. Oh, that's going on. Hear what I tell you. It is not impossible for every Jamaican household to have decent shelter. It is not impossible for every road in Jamaica to have decent driving surface. It is not impossible for every home in Jamaica that is within.
You want me to jump on him?
He's a laughing
Give me,
stock.
man. Give me. Because I'm run out now, I talk about house and every Jamaican and people bad mind him and all these things. Remember, this man select Peanut Dread as an ambassador, you know. This man select Peanut Dread as one ambassador for the youth then. Right? And him promise to aid and assist Peanut Dread. Not to build him a house, you know, but to help him to finish the house. And I know Peanut Dread can't get a cent from Andrew Holness. So when Andrew Holness now come on the platform I went there, with a few little labor rights around him, no crowd to speak about, and then I'm wilderness, so to speak. I don't even want to make him sound like him in the wilderness, because he's don't alone some stay in the wilderness. When him then I'm little semi-detached space, and I make them speech, you need to understand, say, every word will come out time out. The people them know is lie. Because I'm the lightest man God put on the face of this planet. And he has proven lonesome right in every way, shape, or form. From 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom, to 60 picnic in a class, to no new tax, everything. So we know that this man mashed down people's house, you know, over Clifton, you know, some beautiful houses. Yeah? And we know say a lot of women with them children suffer. There was one particular case, just adjacent to Clifton, yeah, not far from Clifton, where this woman, it seemed like she was living in a house where her husband got that house through the sugar plantation scheme, because they used to provide houses for their worker. And Andrew, it was a board house, to be frank. And Andrew Wallace went there and demolished that woman house. You saw her sitting in the yard with the furniture them pack up around her. So this garbage prime minister we have, this notorious criminal we have in Jamaica, this Pharaoh we have a run the place like a female, you need to go one side. This man with 28 bank account cannot talk to not even a little baby because the baby them start get tired of Andrew. Be tired of you. Broke and easy yourself. That word coming from a little baby, you know. So Andrew Wallace now no credibility for come talk nothing about nobody bad mind him. Andrew, you know bad mind the people of Jamaica. You rob the people of Jamaica. The amount of money where you pilfer out of the taxpayers' coffers, it's unbelievable. You for the behind bars right now. You're worse than Adam Stanford. You're worse than Ronnie Biggs, the great train robbery. You're that devious criminal prime minister masquerading in front of the Jamaican public. You know, so everybody laugh after you now. Everybody laughing after you. You're standing on your own practically, you know. Everybody distance themselves from you. Because the situation where you find yourself in a Jamaica as the prime minister, and the something look pretty. The whole of the labor right them shame on you. You make all senior citizens where them interact in politics no more. We just relax and cool out of them yard. All them shame on you, you know. Because exactly. There was one particular senior citizen, she was 99, and she has known every prime minister that there is in Jamaica. And she say you are the worst. You can imagine. And she know about blind, you know. She knows the blind Aga was a criminal. But she plays a weird as Siaga. And she wasn't cursed in saying what she said. So we can't have this man run out and everywhere him go and try to spin the wheel on the PMP. PMP them not have nothing to do with them more than kick you out of the House of Parliament right now. And that PMP I do it, you know, and hold you accountable. And I give back to another panel.
All right, blessings. So, Jamaican, home and abroad, we are going to get into the investigation right now. And we are going to present the information. And clearly, as I said earlier, and even a 5-year-old child can understand where I'm going in terms of presenting this. And when I finish presenting this, right, there is no doubt, cannot be disputed, as it relates to Andrew Owen's position, right, that he took as it relates to SSL or SSL unfolded, right? Now, the first document that I'm going to play, that I'm going to show, is a document as it relates to his lawyer at the time, Patrick Bailey, speaking about Andrew Owen's transactions as it relates to SSL. We are going to show that, right? And we are going to take it from there. Now, without any delay, let us get into Owen's wasn't evading taxes. Owen's wasn't evading taxes. We want people to follow us through these information. chronological sequence that we provide, right, bringing the time frame, right? Now, people, this is February 16, 2016. Honest wasn't evading taxes, and I want people to listen to this keenly. People, this is Patrick Bailey here, right? Once was Andrew Honest lawyer. Patrick Bailey is the person who set up all the shell companies for Andrew Honest. And not only Andrew Honest, Patrick Bailey involved with in terms of setting up shell companies, right? Patrick Bailey also set up shell company for Edward Siaga, right? Patrick Bailey run along with Edward Siaga and set up shell companies for other politicians as well. So when Patrick Bailey said his back is broader than sharpshooter, there's no joke. And that is one of the reasons why he cannot be touched as it relates to the situation that happened in his house, the number 3 that played out in his house. And where there's no sign of tampering of any person get inside of the house, but yet a number 3 was committed, right, in the presence of Patrick Bailey. But there are several reasons why this man cannot be touched, because he holds the secret therein, including SSL. Now let us go into the meat of the matter. The attorney who represented Andrew Honest's company in the controversial land transactions says the JLP leader was not attempting to evade taxes. Mr. Honest has come under fire from the PNP for using a St. Lucia-based company, ADMAT Incorporated, to purchase the property on which he is constructing his family home. Mr. Honest has since disclosed that ADMAT is owned by himself and his 2 sons, ADMAT and Matthew. Patrick Bailey is the attorney who represented ADMAT in the transaction. Mr. Bailey says all payments to the vendor, Carmen Brown, were made through him. Now, people, I want you to look and listen up. This is the first time Andrew Honest getting money out of SSL. We are going to clear the pack tonight. This is the first time Andrew Honest will be getting money from SSL. So I want people to pay keen attention with this. Let us read over this paragraph. Mr. Bailey says all payment to the vendor, Carmen Brown. Carmen Brown is the person who sold the land to Andrew Honest. Were made through him, right? The land was purchased for $300,000 US, the equivalent of about 26 million at the time. People, listen up. Mr. Bailey says $90,000 were paid from Mr. Honest saving account at JMMB, while the remainder came from his account at Stocks and Security SSL. So remember now that the cost of the land was $300,000. Mr. Bailey says Andrew Honest got $90,000 were paid from Mr. Honest's saving account at GMMB, while the remainder, so 210, most of it came from SSL. The first time Andrew Honest got money out of SSL. Let me say something here to the people. Let me say something where people can understand where we are going. Let us just leave that there. For these investment company, as I always explain, there is 3 portfolios that you can utilize, right? You can use short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Am I right on it? Short-term investment, medium-term investment, or long-term investment. You are going to see repeatedly how Andrew owners getting into SSL, getting money out of SSL. So then, obviously, right? What sort of portfolio Andrew owners would have in SSL? Obviously, it couldn't be a long term.
No.
And if it is a short term, how much money? We know that Andrew owners dump the NIS money, ed tax money, and all these money in SSL. We know also that Andrew owners know also that SSL wasn't doing any trading on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The Jamaica Stock Exchange and FSC forced to push SSL on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. It is the first time in history that has ever happened. Why was it that the JSE, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and the FSC, an oversight entity for these institutions, fighting to put SSL and the Jamaica Stock Exchange, knowing that SSL breached all the rules and knowing that SSL were robbing people? Come on, people, look into what I'm saying here. Here's the evidence. The land was purchased for $300,000 US, the equivalent of about $26 million at the time. Mr. Bailey says $90,000 were paid from Mr. Owner's US dollar saving account at GMB, while the remainder came from his account at Stocks and Security. And on me say it, you know. And on Mystic Sensation say it, you know. And on Rattigan say it, you know. And on Melting Pot said it, you know. And on Pastor Ricky said this. We can move on. He says the use of an offshore company to facilitate such a transaction is common practice. Now, let us put that away. Right? More information on the document. Okay. Let us put that away. Now, let me talk, because panel just rest a minute there. Let me just establish my case tonight. So the Prime Minister, right? Here's other thing on the document where it explains some other things. See if we can go back on the document. Hold on, people, because I think that there's some other information on the document that I want to show, because I don't want to leave no stone unturned tonight. You know? I want to make sure on my phone here. I want to make sure that we are getting all the information tonight. Right? Okay. All right. We don't see anything else. Okay. All right. Hold on. Hold on.
You have something on the bottom of that document.
Yes, because I know that. We can get back to it because I need to read that. I need to read that because not seeing it on my system.
I have it.
From your phone, it's not. It's just links that are down there on this.
You want me to read it, Byron?
Yes. All right. Go ahead and read it for us.
All right. Here is the follow-up of that previous part of the document. It said Patrick Bailey is the attorney who represented ATMAT in the transaction. Okay?
Yes.
It also said that Mr. Bailey said all the payment to the vendor, Carmen Brown, were made through him. Yeah, coming down the line there. Right. And then it goes on to say that He said the use of an offshore company to facilitate such a transaction is common practice.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it cuts off right here.
Okay. Don't mind that. All right. Now, people, I am going to show our next document as it relates to the first time in 2011. Right? The other part of the document that cut off would show you that Andrew Holness made 4 transactions. For some reason, right, that information being cut off. I don't know why it was cut off. Right? Where Andrew Holness made 4 transactions as it relates to that, paid for the land. Showing you that Andrew Holness, you understand, did not have all the cash to pay for the land in 2011. We want people to just rebuild that. But I am going to go for a document, right? As it relates to Andrew Holness, right, of an interview with the Gleaner. And what Andrew Holness telling the Gleaner, saying that if Andrew Holness participated, right, in laying the stone, cutting the stones and laying the stones. Unbelievable. People, honestly, unbelievable. Andrew Holness have no experience in such field in terms of a stone cutter. No experience. We can show you that Andrew Holness' experience in school was carpentry. Nothing to do with stone cutting. But before we get into that, let us hear that and hear what Andrew Holness has to say, people. Unbelievable. Lift up that. Listen to him, people. Okay, the document is coming up, people. So listen to this, people. Listen to Andrew Holness.
People who know me know that I don't carry a grudge. I don't carry a grudge. But I'm human. So of course, I shook my head in disgust at what was being said and what was being done. And I was also disappointed in Peter Phillips, a man who I had great respect for, someone who I had a very good relationship with his family and his children and his grandchildren. I know his son Mikel fairly well, and I know Mikel's children fairly well. They used to go to school with my children. So when I saw this kind of personal attack about me building a house in Beverly Hills and where I got the money from, I was really taken aback, because I was never one to be involved in anything untoward. So I just thought that it was unbecoming of him, because I held him in a higher order of esteem. And I think he has disappointed me and let me down personally in terms of his behavior. It shows a kind of desperation and power hungriness that Jamaica does not need at this time. We decided to do what was more economical and what made sense. So with all these stones, we built walls, which makes sense. And some of the figures I've heard bandied about, ridiculous, because when you come to think of it, 90% of the cost of the stone wall is the excavation first and the stones. Now I had to excavate anyway. And when I excavate, I got stones. So the cost of the wall is minimal. Cements to joint the stones, cement, sand, and gravel to joint the stone. That's it. And I think that managing the project ourselves saved a lot of cost. People don't know this, but you know, I actually laid some of the stones. I spent in the early time some, you know, supervising the work. My wife was there most of the time. It was very interesting. It made me, you see me losing a lot of weight and looking slim, and a lot of that was actually walking up and down the hill and supervising and mixing concrete. And you know, people don't know this either, that you know, I did woodwork at school as my technical subject, so I have a little knowledge of carpentry, and I found it a great relaxation.
Now, Jamaican people. Oh,
God,
this is
the
unbelievable.
habit stock, man. I'm sorry.
Solve the problem.
No, people, this is unbelievable. The Prime Minister is saying, and why the Prime Minister is saying that? Because there was an evaluator who evaluated the house and said the lease that house cost was over $200 million. Over $200 million. The Prime Minister claimed that that is a lie. The house only value $51 million, and the reason for that, because him helped lay some of the stones. The Prime Minister is not a stone cutter. The Prime Minister is not a stone cutter. But the Prime Minister said, right, he laid some of the stones, and so then when people are saying the house cost over $200 million, a lie, because his input of laying some of the stones, right, bring down the cost. Unbelievable. Now, let us show something as it relates to, we are going to show Jamaica as it relates to where the Prime Minister is coming from. In 1994, when the Prime Minister departed high school, the Prime Minister owed student loan. We are going to go back there, and we are going to show you between then and now, right, that Andrew Holness is a billionaire. Now, look at this, people. Let us get into Holness make finance public. The delinquent student loan. Let us show the delinquent student loan with the Prime Minister. When we finish run this, then we are going to get to the panel, because now here it is, people, right? And we want to show the date. So this came out September 1996, you know. See the date there? September 1996. And see it here, Andrew M. Holness, lot 130 Riverside Park, Ensom City, Spanish Town, P.O. St. Catherine. See it? Delinquent student loan borrowers. Why am I showing this? The Prime Minister said, take that away. The reason why I'm showing this, the Prime Minister said he came into the politics, right, with millions of dollars. And you're going to see it. But obviously, the Prime Minister, after leaving school in 1994, right, worked charity for 2 years, 1995 and 1996, and venture into the politics 1997. Let us show the information as what the Prime Minister is saying right here, giving an interview to Abka Fitz-Henley. Let us dig up that. Let us dig up that. Listen, people, let us dig up that. Now, here it is. In 2016, because Peter Phillips, right, is asking Andrew Holness, right, to justify him building that big mansion. Andrew Holness went to Big Mama Station and interviewed by Abka Fitz-Henley. This is what the Prime Minister said. Now, this is what transpired here. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he has assets valued at just over $151 million. His liabilities currently amount to just under $35 million. People want to listen good enough. Holness disclosed his total assets and liability this afternoon in an interview with Nationwide News. The Gleaner and the Observer newspaper. Mr. Holness is the first Jamaican Prime Minister to publicly declare his assets and liability since PJ Patterson made his declaration public in 2002. Mr. Holness made available to the media today his last 10 Integrity Commission declarations. The date from 2007 when he first became a minister, and now the Integrity Commission declaration show that just before people listen to this, here it is. The Integrity Commission declaration show that just before Holness became a minister 10 years ago, he had assets totaling just under $47 million. His liability in 2007 were just under $4 million. The people, here it is, where Andrew Holness is saying here that just before Holness became a minister 10 years ago, he had assets totaling just under $47 million. His liability under $4 million. No, so the Prime Minister is saying that, right? He brought in $47 million into the politics. Remember now, the Prime Minister left high school, right? Left university, 1994. Spent 2 years in charity. And enter politics 1997. And the Prime Minister take 2 years to amass $47 million. That is what the Prime Minister is saying to Jamaica. Now, people, I am going to play something where his wife is saying that in 1997 they have no money. So how do you, make it make sense? Make it make sense. Andrew Holness, come here. Make it make sense. You are telling Abka Fitz-Henley that you came into the politics with $47 million. Into the politics with $47 million. You left university 1994. 1995 and 1996, you worked with charity. 1997, you entered the politics. In 1997, you married. But I'm going to show the Jamaican people that Jeannette Calder is saying that the Prime Minister is a liar. The Prime Minister didn't have any money in 1997. Let us play that clip. Find that clip on it. Jeannette Calder. Let us find that clip. Go to Jamaica. These are the things that Andrew Holness need to explain.
I was born in my husband's constituency. I think I was actually born at the hospital, Andrews Memorial Hospital it was. Yeah, at the time. But grew up at a very early age in Ensom City and went to Ensom City all age and then on to St. Catherine High School. I remember even being at Ensom City all age, being a very industrious little child. My parents would send me to school, they would give me my lunch money. I would be buying police button and selling them to get extra money from early days. So I remember being at St. Catherine High School and leaving school walking from St. John's Road to Spanish Town. I did it often. I walked from Ensom to St. Catherine. I got my lunch money and I got my taxi fare. I always felt that other than paying my school fee and giving me my uniform and my books, I should be able to do all the other little things. If I need geometry set, if they're doing something for sports day, I should be able to chip in. My dad worked in a factory, zinc manufacturing factory it was. He was a supervisor there. I think the factory closed down. He was made redundant and he took his savings and went into the taxi business. So he had a bus and taxi from time to time. I would walk to Spanish Town and go and meet my mother and help her to sell. She would sell shoes and clothing, and I had no problem. I remember many times my classmates would pass, and sometimes they would see me at school and say, Juliet, you don't feel ashamed to go help your mother sell? And no, I was never ashamed. I always felt this is what is sending me to school. My mom and my dad earn an honest living, and I thought it was an excellent value to instill in me as a child. And I pitched in and made sure I sell anytime I could once school was out. If it was Christmas, I would be on to Falmouth. I love to check a lot of money. So when they went to Falmouth, I found that the sales was very good. I was collecting and selling, and I found that very exciting that my parents were able to earn in this way. My mom sort of beat it into my head since early days. Look, we are not wealthy, and the way you're going to achieve in life is to have a good education. That's really the legacy I'm passing on to you. Being educated and being able to take care of yourself. So for me, growing up as a child, I actually never had a sense of any disparity or inequity in how women and men function, because my parents function in a way where my mother was a strong woman and giving in equal ways to the partnership of taking care of and raising the family and funding our lifestyle. Myself and Andrew went to St. Catherine High School together, but I didn't like him in high school. I thought that he was just enough. He was into everything. I remember the very first Valentine's Day special that was put on at the school. Andrew organized it. He conceptualized it and he organized the Valentine's event. And I was like, who is that guy? Everything is him. I remember he was valedictorian, and I just continued to almost envy him and say, this guy is just so into everything. And I remember when he was doing his valedictory speech, I don't think I've ever told him, when he kept saying education. And I'm like, it's education. so I remember Andrew well. I was very impressed with the way he was as a young man. He was helping his mother to build her house, and I'd pass and see him up on top of the house, helping the man who was doing the grill work, the masonry, and I was like, yeah, that guy not bad at all. All right. But I remember at school thinking that he was just so enough. Everything was just this Andrew. Then he wasn't my friend. So I went to Woolmer's Girls, as I told you, for sixth form. And when it came around now to the ball at sixth form, I didn't have a date. And someone said to me, what about Andrew, the guy down the road? And I was like, not so bad. I could make him go on with me. And I said to Andrew, do you want to accompany me to my sixth form ball? I think he had a friend, Garfield, who liked me at the time. I don't know if he knew, but Andrew said yes. And at the time, as I tell you, very naive, very sheltered. I was chaperone. My uncle took us to the ball, drove us to the ball, and stayed with us at the ball and took us back home. I had no opportunity for Andrew to get on with any hanky-panky at all. But that summer was the start of our relationship. I remember after sixth form, we spent the entire summer together. Like every waking moment, we stayed together until we fell asleep. We're very boring people, so we decided we were going to get married in 7 years. There are not many things I found that I was adamant about in a relationship, but some things I was very principled about. So I would never have a child unless I'm married. And I remember saying that we need to be able to buy a home first, need to get married, and then we can think about having children. I remember we got married 1997. We planned, I don't even know, we sat down, we talked about it. I think we decided to have our wedding in between our birthdays. I'm born on the 16th of July, he's born on the 22nd, and we chose the Sunday in between our birthdays. We could not afford a lot, so we didn't have a wedding planner, and we could not afford a big hotel. I remember we rented Villa Ranai at the time, and we had a regular chef that you would normally have in your community come and cook up the curry goat and the rice and peas at Villa Ranai. And there we were married. Everybody came, like we invited all the relatives that we knew lived very far away because they would not be able to come to the wedding. They live in the UK, they live in America and Canada, but we didn't want anybody to say that we'd never invite them. So after trying to keep the wedding to 50, and my parents started to tell me who and who not invited, and his parents started to say who and who not invited, we said, all right, here's the strategy. Send all of them invitation because they're not coming. We ended up, instead of having a wedding of 50, with a wedding of 250 people, because everybody turned up from all over and our mouth was just dropping. My father didn't think it funny. I told him that we should have actually run it like a fish fry, where we give them an invitation at a cost and you pay to come to the wedding. Because, all right, but we enjoyed it. It was wonderful, not very expensive, and right up our street. Now that you're serving, you don't end up having as much time. And for Andrew, he spends his time with the boy.
Take it away. Ratty, I want you. Let me go to you, Ratty, right away. Right away, Ratty. So, Andrew Honest came under a firestorm as it relates to Peter Phillips. Want Andrew Honest to justify how he came by that big house. Andrew Honest went on Abco Fitz-Henley, Big Mama Station, and said that he came in the politics with $47 million, right, in 1997. We know that it is 1997 Andrew Honest came into the politics. Clearly, we played a video as it relates to Jeannette Honest, the wife, said, we got married in 1997 and we didn't have any money. Our wedding, we have to utilize fish fry to accommodate those 200 persons who visited the wedding, because they didn't plan to have that amount of people come to the wedding. What do you make sense of this, Ratty, in terms of the Prime Minister? Speaking of Fitz-Henley, said he came into the politics with $47 million.
Yeah. Simply put, cock won't kill cock. You don't need to go no further than that. You play the video, you know, you play him wife attack, you play him attack, you show the thing. And overwhelming production of direct evidence. And evidence from somebody who is actually confessing to certain things without even knowing it. And I think he might tell the truth. And it just turns out that everything I'm saying after that, he has set up, like I was saying, you know, what Shakespeare said about the past, this prologue. You know, you go back and look at him history and you see everything that he's saying there. You know, there was an interesting, you play a video where he said something that's interesting. He said he was talking to a sparse group of people. And he was saying that everything him do, you know, him said that the previous government, they make all kinds of mistakes and this and that and that. And as soon as him start fix the problem, them bad buying him, you know, because he's delivering on his promise. What promises? What promises is he talking? What promises is he talking about? while you're playing the video, you know, this thing, I go back and I refresh my recollection of the 2016 manifesto and this 2020 manifesto. And the housing promises were there. Those promises were there. In 2016, he said, listen, PNP not going on, them not going to housing, we are going to fix it. And we are going to fix it in 5 years because you don't run an election and run for re-election at the same time. You can only run for one term at a time because you don't know what people are going to do next. And that's how the system set up. You don't run for 10 years, 15 years at a time. You run for one term at a time. And he said, here are my housing solutions. And he hasn't delivered on those housing solutions. Then come 2020, he said, yeah, we're going to build affordable housing, we're going to do this. And yet still he hasn't done so. What we have seen is a draconian policy where he's saying, give me your land, I'm going to build a 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom. And when you die, they'll take it and just give it to somebody else. And what's interesting is that the person who we're bringing, where for them land there? Where for them land there? I thought they said that to qualify for the program, you have to have land. Right. So if, and him say, we take the municipality and we give to another needy family. Well, where for them land there? I don't for them land that. Exactly. So it's all convoluted, it's all nonsensical, it's all draconian. And like I said, the more you play the videos, the more you put out the narrative, the writings, the speeches, I think it's the more convincing the argument is that this prime minister has failed, the government has failed, and they cannot be allowed to come back for a third term because they've had 2 terms to do what they said they were going to do in the first term. And they still have, people, don't take my word for it. I'll provide you with the guidance and then you walk the path. Just go back and look at the 2016 manifesto. Forget about the 2021. Just look at the 2016 one and tell me if you believe that the prime minister has fulfilled those promises there. I submit to you that he has not. And I submit to you that he has no desire to do so. So then it's up to us now to make a choice. And the choice is very, very clear. The choice is very, very easy. The choice is very, very direct. That's it.
Blessings. All right. Thank you for that input, Brother Ratty. All right. Pastor Ricky, take it away. We are leaving the bomb for last.
Well, it shows that both of them are pathological liars, and they didn't collaborate their story to get it to sync and to flow in and to make it sound truthful. And we expose the lies. He said he came into politics in 1997 with $47 million, right? She said when they got married in 1997, they were broke. Remember, it's I'm just laughing, man, while you play the video. They got married in 1997, the same year he came into politics with 47 million. She was so broke she said they couldn't even afford a wedding planner. She was upset with her parents that why didn't you just keep a fish fry and let us charge people to buy food to come to our wedding. So he said the intent, they've been greedy all along. And then on top of it, here's a big one, Sir Rattigan and Sir Byron, Sir Melting Pot. Remember, one of the 5 properties that the Prime Minister used ADMAT to buy, according to Zara Burton investigations, was one of them was, besides the property at Waycliffe, the land that he built his Beverly House mansion on, and the Great Way property. One of them was the taxi service. Remember, it flopped. It went under. But then she said, I should be a lawyer, man. She said that her father owned a taxi service. You just played it. So who owned the taxi service? Was it the Prime Minister who purchased it to ADMAT? Or was it her father who owned the taxi service? Or was it the both of them owned the taxi service, but she lied on her father? You see what I'm saying? It's right there in the video. Okay, let me just go through some stuff I wrote down real quick about what she said. She said that, 1 second. Oh my God. This is my corruption notebook. It takes so much. I'm loaded with you, Ratigan, and Father Lonesome. It's amazing how we catch these criminals in their lives and they don't even realize it. So she said that they were her mother did market. Her mother taught her how to education was vital, critical, instrumental for her to resurrect herself out of poverty. But yet we have not seen the 9 years she's been in the government. Has she built, championed any initiative to further education in Jamaica or built any institutions like schools, university, training centers? So if her mother taught her those principles, because she said she's a woman of principle, she didn't want to have children before she got married because she grew up on principle. So if her mother taught her the principle of being educated that will elevate her out of the brokenness and the poorness that she grew up in because her mother worked in the market, and no disrespect to vendors, please don't misinterpret me, but based upon what she said, they were poor. So if her mother taught her those principles that will elevate her and get a good education, and we all know that education unlock doors and open opportunities, no doubt about that. But the truth of the matter, what has she done to elevate the Jamaican children that the principle that her mother taught her? And then back to the criminal prime minister. He lied and said he cut stones. He worked hard, so hard that he lost weight. He lost so much weight building the house, but yet he hired an architect and some builders to build his house. So the bottom line is these people cannot be trusted. These people are pathological liars. They're a threat and an enemy of the state of Jamaica. They're endangered species that are criminals, infect others that comes around them. As Justice Seymour Panton say, when they go into parliament and drink the water of them get corrupt. And I believe everybody that goes around this criminal prime minister get corrupt. Simple as that. So when you look at this $300 million mansion that his lawyer says, former lawyer says, that he had to withdraw from SSL, the Ponzi scheme, to purchase the property, the land, and then when they bought the land, it in 2011 they didn't start construction till 2012. And today, I said I was gonna go do some research, and I got so busy. But we need to find out the actual date both went joined SSL, and we also need to find out when did the project began to be the construction on his Beverly Hills mansion and his wife apartment complex, because we are following the money. And so when we follow the money, we will find out the expenditures. And so then we will look at the source of income, the funding. Where did the income come from? Because it appears he was broke, man. Let's be honest. Based upon what his wife said, he was broke. Yeah, all right. Let's not sugarcoat this thing. He was broke. He got money from SSL to buy the land. Where did he get the money from to build a house that is now at a value of $300 million US dollars we're talking about, with no mortgage? And on top of that, he bought the Waycliffe close for $15 million the same year in 2008. I mean 2011, 2008. Yeah, because he owed back taxes on it in 2009, and he also owed taxes on his Beverly Hills mansion leading up to 2016, as Zara Burton identified 3 properties that he owed back taxes on. That information was on TAJ website. That because she brought it to his attention and he denied it, they went and took it off the tax of Jamaica website. So the bottom line is he was broke, and I believe that he got a lot of money from this Ponzi scheme in 2012. And hopefully when we meet again, we'll have that result. You're muted. You're muted.
So I have the information as it relates to, right, how he get the money to build his house. And you mentioned something, but I'm going to bring melting pot. And this is what I'm going to show people to connect the dots, right? How he got money, right, to start his house, right? So the last two clips are going to explain that. Clear, that it is going to explain that. So melting pot, go and take it away, melting pot.
This is following the lies. And here it is why. Andrew Wallace was born in 1972. So there you go. By about 1990, he would have finished high school, St. Catherine, and went to university. Did a 4-year studies in social science.
Yes.
Okay. Now we know that he graduated in 1994 from the University of West Indies, Mona campus. And so what we knew after that was that he went to did charity work for 2 years.
Yes.
No, charity doesn't offer you a salary. Nothing. No. It's just you giving back to, you know, somewhere the cause. Now, what we are looking at here now, the 6th of September 1996, Andrew Wallace came in the, you know, newspaper as a delinquent student.
Yeah, we have the evidence.
But 1997, Andrew Wallace came into politics with 47, just under 47 million, so we can call it 47 million. But why did Andrew Wallace, knowing fully well that he owed university student fee? Yeah? Because you don't have some money from 1996 for you coming to politics 1997 with 47 million, you know. You couldn't have broke 1996, you know.
Exactly.
So you don't pay off your student delinquency fee. You understand? But the lie trail continue after that, because here is Jeannette Wallace now making mention of them wedding and how, you know, they was strapped for cash and, you know, they sort of felt a little bit out of them comfort zone because, you know, them couldn't accommodate the entire family with them having at the 3 places where they mentioned UK, US and Canada. So when them put out their invitation, it was like, oh, them the far, them now will come. So it's a sham invitation, them theoretically put out. But everybody come. And then it's like them in a problem now to look after them because she said that she didn't have a professional chef, you know. They have just a little community man where cook up curry goat and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know where gone over the top. Just an ordinary wedding. But watch this now. Andrew Wallace and Jeannette Wallace, evident of, you know, them inception coming into this dynasty of cash. Don't match up. Don't match up. Because one can't finance them wedding and I talk how strenuous it was. And then the other one did sit down for 47 million. So something right there, so. But me know who I tell a lie. Me know Andrew. Because watch this. Hold on there. I don't done with him yet. Watch this now. When Andrew become prime minister, you know, Andrew treat the people and tell them, say, I build 70,000 new houses in the first 5 years. And we work it out to be 14,000 houses per year. But we don't see nothing of that sort of number as it relates to building houses on them 9 years, almost 10. So we just want to prove to the people and say Andrew a liar.
All right.
Andrew is a chronological liar.
All right.
You cannot, you know. Yeah.
Just ease a bit because you want to pen now. We are here going through all of this, right? And I don't want to get the people confused. The last two clips, I leave it last. And the reason why I leave it last, because I want to connect the dot now and show people as it relates to why Andrew Holness have this house. Definitely SSL that he got money from. In this clip that I'm going to present, you're going to see that this clip connects all the dots. All the dots. So I'm going to put up the clip so where we can share it to the people and where Andrew Holness is going to explain that in 2011, let me explain it. In 2011, Andrew Holness used 4 transactions, right, to pay for the land because he didn't have all the money. He totally finished with cash. The money that he made when he was in the Ministry of Education as it relates to giving awarding contract to Gavin, right? And ADMAT, right? All of that money used in terms of acquiring the first 4 set of properties, right? So then now to deal with the big house, he never have all the money. I'm going to put up the document, read it, and show people the evidence that Andrew Holness used 4 different transactions to pay for the land without any delay.
Mine him say a bad mind, you know.
Hold on, we're going to put up that. We're going to put up that. Put up the document. Holness open house. So we just explain that to people. We're going to show people how we're going to tie the evidence, clear evidence of what Andrew Holness did. Let us show it.
Come back again.
Okay, February 15, 2016. Okay, let us read. Opposition leader Andrew Holness has provided details on the funding of his multi-million-dollar house in Beverly Hills, said Andrew, in an attempt to respond to a smear campaign. He says the People's National Party is waging against him in the lead up to the February 25 general election. Now, Holness yesterday, a late evening statement disclosing that to date, the total cost of land preparation, construction, and landscaping is approximately 52 million Jamaican dollars. That's a lie. Because you have an evaluator evaluated and said the least that it costs, you understand, the least $200 million. You have Andrew Holness say yes, sir. Jamaica, $52 million spent over a period of 4 years, financed by savings, salary, bank loans, and suppliers credit. When Zara Burton did the investigation, Zara Burton found nothing like that. No bank loans. No bank loans to back up what the Prime Minister is saying, that he used bank loans, savings, and suppliers credit, right, to build his house. No bank loan, even to date. There is no bank that had given Andrew Holness any loan to build that house. The Finance Minister, Dr. Peter Phillips, has been heading a PNP court since November 2015 that questioned Holness financing of his home, indicating that it might not stand up to scrutiny. But Holness has started to dismiss much of the speculation in a statement that chronicled the building process, his source of funding, and how he became director of ADMAT, right, the St. Lucia registered company that purchased the land on which his mansion is built. The Jamaica Labour Party leader said the company was formed after he became education minister in 2007 and a need to structure his personal affairs. Consequent on the advice, I incorporated an international business company in St. Lucia. This course of action is common practice, particularly for estate planning purposes. The name of the company ADMAT is a combination of the names of my two sons, ADMAT and Matthew. I am the sole director of the company, and the company has 3 shareholders, being my sons and myself, right? Now, watch out, people. ONS, who has also faced disclosure calls from the Trevor Monroe-led Integrity Action, said ADMAT was registered in 2008 and declared to the Integrity Commission, right, a creature of the Jamaican Parliament, to which all members must take declarations of income, assets, and liabilities. What you know, people? Look, read this paragraph now. Honest. Everything I own is physically in Jamaica. Honest said before, going out to outline how funds were sourced for land purchase and subsequent construction of the house in late 2010. I started negotiation to purchase a piece of land to construct my family home in January 2011. See here, people? January 2011. More to the Jamaican pay attention to this. More the globe to pay attention to this. Because right here, so Andrew Owens has sent himself a prison. Right here, so Andrew Owens has sent himself a prison. Look, people. In January 2011, I made the first of 4 payments on the land. Payments were completed in August 2011. The title was transferred in July 2011. So we have the evidence where Andrew Owens said he paid 4 transactions to pay off the land. And we have the evidence where we have the land, right, cost over, right, 300 and odd thousand. And
26 million Jamaican. 26 million Jamaican dollars.
Yes, $26 million Jamaican dollars. And where most of it came from SSL. Remember, so we read that document. We have read that document where most of the money came from SSL. Now, what's its paper? Here is where Andrew Owens said he used 4 transactions to pay for the land in 2011. Right? So, now we understand. Take it away. Right? Now we understand that Andrew Owens, right, in 2011, borrowed some money from SSL, get some money from SSL, which most of it used, right, to pay for the land. Remember, so we said that, you know, a Patrick Bailey said that. Remember, so me read the document. If you want to go back to the document, we can go back to the document to remind you. Where Patrick Bailey said, right, most of it came from SSL. No. So he used 4 transactions, right, to pay for the land. Because he broke him spend all of the money, you understand, use ADMAT in St. Lucia to buy up the 4 property by Meg as it relates to the hustling one get when he was Ministry of Education through Gavin. You understand? Awarding contracts to Gavin, so then the money they run out, you know. And then the piece of food one have left. So you understand? Him get most of it from SSL. So when the Pastor Ricky, let me drive up the point. Him get most of it from SSL. Right? Now, since he got most of it from SSL, he have no money left. I'm going to show you what happened. So now, remember people, at 2011, 2011, right? His money run out. He's going to get some money. Most of it come from SSL. Now, watch this, people. Bring up the document. Bring up the next document.
I just want to ask you a quick question, Sir Byron.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just thinking with my analytical mind as you're teaching. Would you say that the money that he got from Robert Gavin to government contracts, would you consider those funds to be kickback, or would you consider Robert Gavin was used as the middleman to funnel the money that he stole to recycle back to him. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, very good questions, and I will answer it right off the bat, coming out each, all of the above. All right, let's move on. All of the above, right? Kickback, right? Him use him as a middleman, all of the above. All right, let us show the people. 2011, the man broke 4 transactions. Now, look for the miracle. What happened? Bring up the document. Usain Bolt money move out of SSL as soon as it drop in. And we are going to talk about that. Now here it is, people. Right? Usain Bolt money move out of SSL as soon as it went in. Right? When did Usain Bolt join SSL? Usain Bolt joined SSL 2012. This is the evidence, people. Between 2012 and 2017, Jamaican track and field legend Usain Bolt put 6.5 million in the investment business Stocks and Security Limited, SSL. But the money was moved out nearly immediately without his knowledge. See the evidence of people? We don't have no life on the Prime Minister. According to a Jamaican observer investigation, Bolt invested 6.2 million in SSL in 2012. In 2012, through a limited liability company called Welgen, which is thought to be an amalgamation of his parents' first name, Wellesley and Jennifer Bolt. In 2017, another 900,000 was put to Bolt's account. However, beginning in 2012, $5.8 million. See the evidence of people? Beginning in 2012, $5.8 million was removed from his account via checks and cash. Evidence. Right? Come on, move this document on. Evidence. And so then when you look at this, the clear evidence, furthermore, 90,000 in the account between 2019 again and 2022 was again what? Swiftly withdrawn between 2019 and 2022. And people remember again, you know, it was 2021 that Andrew Wallace closed his account, getting money out of SSL again. And see it here again. Furthermore, $90,000 more in the account between 2019 and 2022 was swiftly withdrawn. Again, the Prime Minister get money out of SSL 2021. Take that away, people, because the evidence is too overwhelming. The evidence is too overwhelming, people. The evidence is too overwhelming. So when I look at that, the Prime Minister, right, who didn't have any cash flow, had to pay 4 transactions, make 4 transactions. And in order to pay the 4 transactions, he has to borrow the money he has to take the money from SSL. And he claimed that he take it from JMMB. No evidence from JMMB. When Zara Burton investigate that, nothing like that. The Prime Minister told a lie that he got the money from bank and of mortgage. When Zara Burton investigated, no mortgage found. Right? So then, how could you get money from JMMB, right, without any collaterals?
Yeah.
Now think of it, people. Now the Prime Minister. So then I'm going to ask a question. Where did the Prime Minister get money from 2012? Right. Board put $6.5 million right, in SSL 2012. Not only that the Prime Minister started to build in 2012, you know. Just imagine, in 2011, the Prime Minister had no money. He went into SSL and took money. He didn't have the money. It is rumored, people, because I don't have that evidence, that Darrell Vaz, you notice Darrell Vaz on the thumbnail, that Darrell Vaz had got money from SSL in 2012 and gave it to the Prime Minister. 2012. As I said, it is rumored. The Darrell Vaz is concerned. So you tell me that the Prime Minister didn't have any money in 2011. We don't look at it, you know. 4 transactions. As a card to Patrick Bailey, who stated that most of it came from SSL. Melting pot, right?
Yeah, man.
Jumpy.
Well, when you look on everything, you know, as it relates to where you are read out, you know, it sure you definitely say every time boat drop the money, it move out immediately. So they were living on board specifically as the big man who can contribute a large sum. Because Andrew Wallace project is a large project, you know. So it will take large funding. So board funding was, you know, the fund that they utilize specifically for that purpose. Because it can't be that when they buy the land in 2011, him get 4 mortgage loan in the 1 year. But there is no trace relating to any mortgage lender that Andrew went to acquire this loan. And when you strap for cash, you know, come on, you'd have got to one man and them lend you that 26 million. But him get 4 loan, totaling the 26 million Jamaican dollars for purchase the land. But there is no evidence of who lent Andrew this 26 million.
Hold on, Melting Pot, hold on. 4 transactions that he paid, not 4 loans, 4 transactions he paid. He made payment 4 times to the lender to acquire the land, not 4 loans, 4 transactions. Right?
So where did he get that the money from?
He get the money from SSL. Majority of it came from SSL as according to Patrick Bailey's lawyer.
Yeah, but then we don't see no trail of the money from SSL to him either.
No, but the lawyer, remember, he would have communicated to his lawyer.
Yeah, so the lawyer was giving that interview to Zara Burton.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he made the 4 payment. Yeah, we can't see where he get the money from to make the 4 payment. Yeah. Because I were hearing at one time them saying get the loan.
Him change him out. Him change back that because SSL is not a company that
would I get it
that should give loans.
Yeah, because it's not a commercial bank.
After I said that, he came back and changed it because he realized that he's in trouble.
Yeah. Because SSL is not a commercial bank. I know him to say. Yeah, so we can move on now. Yeah, because we know him a lie now. We know him a lie. So, anyhow, you can access our bolt money at the driving force behind the Beverly Hills mansion. And this is why Andrew downscale the real estate man who said the house value 250 million US. Andrew downscale it and said, no, it only value 51 million, something of that sort.
Yes.
You understand? But I mean, if I build a house, and it, say for instance, it really value 51 million, but a valuator come and tell me say it value that, why would I challenge him? Because Andrew don't want that publication of the valuation to be mentioned in its right capacity of value. So him double down on it and say, no, it don't value that.
Yeah.
While everybody would have want them things to value more and more. Andrew go down low and low. Because Andrew cannot make this information come out there as it relates to the amount of money that he was generating, where it come from, or you angle so much amount of money in a short space of time. With salary cannot give you that.
Exactly.
So everything Andrew Wallace was dodging, sidestepping, skipping, upping, my jump over everything.
Because if he reported the actual amount, he would have been in problem with the Integrity Commission.
Definitely. So he was hiding and dodging and jumping over all type of obstacle.
Yeah.
It wasn't coming clear. You understand? Right. So we see as we know a SSL he might get all him funding from.
Exactly.
During that period of time when Beverly Hills a bill.
Yeah. Yes.
There was no other source of funding.
No other source of funding.
Yeah.
All right.
Over them half terms, it is there. It can be traced.
Exactly. All right, yeah. Brother Ratty, because you're silent in the back there, you know, right? As it relates to what we just discussed, right? We see the Prime Minister use full transaction to pay for the land, Brother Ratty. And obviously, he got most of it from SSL. And 2012, Bolt put $5.6 million in SSL. And then the Prime Minister started his construction in 2012. And also, Jeannette Calder started her apartment complex at Lee's Flat in 2012 as well. How that look to you, Ratty?
Yeah, it looks suspicious. And that's why we need to see the reports. We need to see at least the one that Kroll did, because it would seem at this point to be more than just a coincidence. That you know what I mean? Even if you want to give the benefit of the doubt, you say, yes. all of this just seems it's unlikely that all of this would happen at the same time. Now, you know, as far as Bold, the money is concerned, when the money went in and the money went out, that's basic investigation. Because if the money went in, obviously it went in someplace, right? So we can see the entry. Now, when the withdrawals took place, we should be able to see that also.
Exactly.
Some of it was in checks, some of it in cash. It doesn't matter. If withdrawals were made, there is going to be a record. You don't withdraw money and there's no record. There's a record. So why is it that we don't know who took the money? I would like to know who took that money. Where did that money go? And let them say, in all of these financial investigations, all you have to do is follow the money. So if you get a good financial analyst, an auditor, you will get to the bottom of this. The question is, have we gotten to the bottom of this already, and the information is just being secreted? You know, them just don't want to see it. Or have we not gotten to this part because of ineptitude, because of lack of basic skills? I don't think that's it. I think they know who took the money.
They know.
I think they know who took the money. They know who took the money. They know where the money went. And so the question is, when are we going to find out? Because I think you have made a convincing case that the Prime Minister is involved up to his neck.
Exactly.
Maybe up to his eyeballs, you know. So
yeah,
I think you have made a convincing case, because this seems to be more than just a coincidence.
A coincidence. Sure, right.
Yeah, it's more than a coincidence. So now the question is, all right, who took the money? And tell us where did the money go? And so I think that's where somebody asked me, I don't know if you've done it yet, but somebody was asking whether or not we can file an ATI to get the Kroll report or aspects of it. and I told them that, you know, I would suggest your file. I would suggest your file for it. I don't think they'll give it to you, but
No.
you know, I've been proven wrong many times. So I said,
I don't think they would submit that, right? Because I remember that report now has to coincide with the hearing into the case. So they would make it become public to corrupt the case.
Right. Right. But then you could also ask if any other entity, law enforcement or otherwise, if they've compiled a report on SSL. So, for example, it could be FID, FSC, MOCA, CTOC, any one of the civic-minded groups. It could be any one of them. You could ask, but Melting Pot, I have to agree with you. I don't think they're gonna give out that information.
No, they won't.
But
maybe you could check your former counterpart at the FBI, because Nigel said they were on the ground digging deep. This is how them people lie, you know, brother. That's why you know them involved in that. Them know, friends them a lie, you know, a corruption. Come on, man. I 1, 2, 3 that, man.
Well, I can tell you one thing. If the FBI were involved in this, and it had to do with it's not international cooperation. It is based on jurisdiction. It's not because Jamaica asked them to come and help. It's because they say, we think that a crime was committed using the American banking system.
Yes.
People would be in prison already. I'm telling you, indictments would be handed down already. People would be in prison already, man.
And that is why them swerve FBI and went to crawl.
Right. Wherever you hear this nonsense, you know, wherever you hear this nonsense, that you have the biggest financial swindle, right, to take place in Jamaica. And it's not like, and it's not widespread, you know, like you have, you know, 100 people to look at, you know. It's narrow. It's SSL. It's narrow. And you going to tell me, say, you up to now 2 years and counting, you can't figure out what happened, and all you have to know, you have to talk about to not have information to charge one person for the swindle. No, come on, them take off for fool, man.
Yeah, and the person don't work in the accounts department. The person just a financial wellness advisor.
Look, it's clear to me that they don't really want to get to the bottom of this, because if they really wanted to get to the bottom of this, that lady, she was on the inside. We know she knows stuff. How much we really don't know.
Right.
But we know she know a lot. So what they should have done, them protect that little lady there, take her out of the country, do something with her, and say, all right, we have a debrief, you know. Look at 100 years or whatever. You see, I'll tell you what. You see, if the FBI, if they were involved, that's what they would have done.
Yeah.
You'd have never heard anything more about that woman there. You'd have just hear maybe she arrested and that's it. And you know, see her. And
Right.
they take her to a off-site someplace, and she protected, and she start feed information, and then them start verify the information and investigate the information. And then them before pretty soon, they run up the whole posse.
But Ratty, let me ask you a question, because Jamaica has a system as it relates to plea bargain. If the DPP wanted to solve this, right? If the DPP is serious about solving this situation, wouldn't that it would be prudent for the DPP offer Jeannette Calder plea bargain in order for her to give truthful evidence of the situation?
Yeah, and here's the thing. If somebody have a plea, there's no need to try the person. If the person says, I'm going to tell you what I know, the person is admitting to say, here's evidence of my guilt, and let me tell you about the other people if you'll reduce my sentence. So there's no need to have a trial. When the DPP says she's ready to go try the case, there is no trial. If somebody says, I am going to strike an agreement with you, I will tell you what I know for a reduced sentence. You not try that person there.
Exactly.
If anything, you use a person as a witness against the people we are trying to. And the way we do it is the first person coming is the person who get the best deal.
Yeah.
So if you run and come in and say, look, I must spill my guts, I'm gonna tell you what I know. I know about this, that, all them people. you get the best deal. Because everybody know after once you give your information, everybody know how to try to cut a deal. But because you're the one who set the ball, the ball in motion, you get the best deal. So why is it that then them talk about no, them have the information now and they're going to charge the woman, which tells me that there's no plea bargain. There's no plea bargain.
Definitely.
And to me, this is just crazy. How can you not have a plea bargain when you already know this woman involved? She involved, but we don't know how much. We know she know a lot, but we don't know everything that she knows. And you have her come and talk to you. That's foolishness, man. But then again, remember, you know, this is our world-class DPP, you know, lost in space. This is our world-class DPP.
But I know she wouldn't enter a plea bargain with Jeannette Calder simply because she don't really want to prosecute none of the stake players then because
well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that doesn't make sense if that is what she's going to do. That she just said, we might as well charge her and just prosecute her and lock her away because yeah, we do a plea bargain with her, then she tell me about the other people, me have to pursue that.
Exactly. So I think they want to see Jeannette Calder as the only activist in a SSL scandal. She alone take the money. And that they want to play it out to be, you know. So, but then again, Jeannette Calder sworn affidavits, that's what they want to call it. It don't add up to the amount.
Exactly.
It's a small amount compared to what we are looking for. So you still have to go pursue the rest of who take it. So this is why this case becomes so, you know, complex. Because
and then make it complex. This show you how corrupt the DPP is. Because a solid DPP, a prudent DPP, is going to pursue the route of a plea bargain.
Exactly.
This case is going nowhere fast. Because remember now, you know, you have a corrupted crime scene, you have a contaminated crime scene, and you have evidence that has been stolen. They can't find laptop gone with information.
You talk about prudent evidence and it related to the laptops then.
Yeah, and don't forget that them have people. Remember them have people who used to work at SSL and all, who continue to work at SSL.
Yeah.
Come on, man. This case ain't got nowhere fast.
But Ratty, the facts of the case now going away, you know. If you get the right team of investigators, them proofs of them people that was tampering with the crime scene, the evidence them as it related to the laptop, and the works that would have just know say, you what no. We don't need to bust with head about who are the perpetrators. Them people up here, so we need to grab them and hear from them. Because I just said lies.
All right, we have to wrap up this now, so we have to give Pastor Ricky his Pastor Ricky, come in. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm here brainstorming and listening to the evidence as it's been unfold right before our eyes, and what it reveals. The criminal prime minister will be the first prime minister in the history of Jamaica to go to prison, and his fingerprints is all over SSL. Honestly. We not try to disrespect nobody, but the truth is the truth, and we can't sugarcoat, we can't water down nothing.
True.
He's involved in this. It's like quicksand, it cover him up. It must sink deep in it. And I want to hear what I'm so desperate to hear what he has to say about SSL, because he's been quiet because he doesn't want to speak and incriminate himself, because right now, anything him say, he's the most, him and the DPP are the two most scrutinized people in Jamaica. And anything he say out of his mouth can be used against him in the law of court. I'm not reading them his Miranda rights, Sir Rattigan, but you don't know the things that already. So he must be careful what him say. And he doesn't want to give a response, because when you look at getting withdrawals from ADMAT in 2011, and his former lawyer is on record saying that he had withdrawals from SSL, right? You just showed the evidence. So that's undeniable. And we know SSL is a Ponzi scheme. SSL was not really a investment company like they portrayed it to be with on the stock market, trading stock. People were led to believe that, but that was not the reality of SSL. And so with him getting money out of SSL to purchase the land that he has his own Beverly Hills mansion on, that should be confiscated. That asset should be taken away from him, seized, and sold, and put back the money in the taxpayers and into the treasury in Jamaica. And then that wasn't the first time he got a withdrawal from SSL. And then the last withdrawal he had was 2021 when he had insider knowledge that SSL is. Sir Rattigan, remember Enron, the Texas company that went under and the feds bust that and lock up who them for lock up. This reminds me of Enron, man. And maybe I should Google Enron in America. That was a big scandal. And so this is gonna incriminate the prime minister. No lawyer can help him. No DPP can help him. No justice of the court down there can help him. Nobody can help him because he's involved from the very first beginning. SSL was established in 2006 and he joined in 2008. And from the minute him joined the Ponzi scheme, his fingerprints has been all over it. So I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I think the feds is waiting to see what this DPP does. I mean, the money had to hit the SWIFT bank, America banking system. It had to, right, sir? There's no way. It had to hit the SWIFT system. And once all that money wire transfer U.S. funds, the American government knows about this thing. But they're just probably laying low, waiting to see the outcome. And then they're going to move in as a killer for this fraud case. It's a big fraud. The biggest scandal this in the history of Jamaica. This is the great steal of U.S. currency in Jamaica and the great steal of taxpayers' money in Jamaica. This is the fraudulent. I mean, that case is bigger than any case in Jamaica that ever came out of Jamaica.
You know, Pastor, you know the shadow. I'm listening to your mistake. The Prime Minister this Friday, I think from 6 to 9 or something like that, the Prime Minister is having a town hall meeting in Barbados.
Barbados.
CARICOM 3 days thing starts,
Yeah, so if I get a town hall meeting, no, Mystic people watch your program throughout the Caribbean, and I mean, I hope anybody in Barbados will watch it, you know. You see the questions and what we are posing there, so go to the town hall and ask him. Go to the town hall, make your contribution to this effort. Go to the town hall and say, hey, listen, I was watching Mystic, you know, and I see Mystic put up a whole bunch of things, and him and him Confederates, them Melting Pot and Pastor Ricky and Rattigan and ISAT, I chat all kind of things about you. Please, sir, can you just put this to bed? Tell us what really happened. Tell us the whole thing about it. They must go and embarrass him. They must go and ask him them questions and make him say, I don't want to, I'm here for CARICOM, I'm not here for
Yeah, he's not gonna, he doesn't want to talk about SS. He want to talk about foolishness, about them are the best prime minister, the best government. But this is a bombshell. Hey, we can't stop talking about this in Sir Rattigan gonna pick it up Saturday. Lonesome are gonna beat it some more. We're gonna come back Friday night with it. Thursday night,
Thursday night, Sunday night, Friday night.
This is
can't die.
Listen, gonna die because the prime minister is a criminal. I'm telling you. I respect the office of the prime minister, no doubt about that. But this current holder is the most dishonorable person in the history of Jamaica that ever hold. I thought Siago was a criminal, but this guy makes Siago look like an infant. Trust me. And we cannot stop. There's more to uncover in this. Sir Byron, we need to find out the exact date both money went into SSL in 2012. And also we need to find out the exact date and stop construction on his mansion and his wife start construction on her apartment. If we can get those 3 pieces of information, we can put the puzzle together, man.
Mystic.
Yes, man. Hey, I said no, I don't know if I wipe out the date.
No, listen, Mystic, here's what happened. Because we have something we are work on, you know, and small group and we are work on that thing, you know. It'll come out next month, you know. What we suggest to you is get a small group, brethren. And you say, all the way you do right, so you already do the hard work, you know. You already do the hard part. I'm gonna tell you, just compile it because justice for the Jamaican people and the Jamaican investors will not be had in Jamaica by the Jamaican authorities. Sad to say, but it's true. You have to take this outside of the country and impress upon international partners, international organizations, foreign countries that this is what's going on in order to get something done. Because the idea of getting JCF, MOCA, CTAC, it's with the DPP, it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. I came to that conclusion. Ratty, I came to that conclusion, and I think that the best solution is that if Bold can heal, right, to what we are saying.
Tweet
right?
when you send your money, Bold. Tweet it.
Heal in terms of what we are saying and seek external help, because as it relates to Bolt, right? I know that they will assist Bolt in terms of, you know, where the Feds looking on as it relates to their US dollars, right? That sort of corruption, as I said, Ratty, touching the American banking system. And that perspective, then the Jamaican authority wouldn't have any control over that investigation.
Right.
Correct.
You're correct.
Right, going
correct.
in.
You're
Right.
correct.
And so then, you know, they would be definitely in trouble. So it's just Bold to make that move. I don't know what Bold lawyer is saying to him.
But
for 2 years, I tell him,
I'm plea to Usain and St. Leo Bold tonight. Bold, them are run out the clock on you. You know what the clock mean in terms of you being an athlete, you know. Yeah? You have to move swiftly towards getting your business in order right now, because we don't rule out the local justice system. Yeah?
Yeah.
This, hold on, Byron.
Yes.
This case where you have with SSL is crying out for the FBI.
Yeah. And one last point, Sir Byron, Sir Rattigan, Lonesome, everybody that have a case about SSL and
this thing I cry out for FBI.
Look, hey, if
they take down YouTube, gonna lose all of this content. So they need to download Sir Rattigan, Byron, and Lonesome, and everybody else who's doing these SSL case. Download these videos and store it on your external drive. Take it off of YouTube for your future reference.
Look, let me tell you, I appeal, just like Melting Pot and the rest of it, I appeal to the icon. Icon will love you to death, but you suffer, and you can't suffer in silence. You've been doing it for far too long. 2 years. You send letter 2 years ago, tell them, say you give them 10 days to get back your money, or else. And or else what? Or else nothing so far. Till now, you feel the pinch now, and you have to say, you come out now and slightly a squeal. But just the fact that you squeal a little bit, but boy, I don't get no money and blah, blah, blah. People are paying big attention to it. Just think about the big attention you'd get if you contact one away. Contact one away. I'm going to tell you, say, if you contact me, we have a team already in place. One phone call and the thing set. One phone call and the thing set. We just have one meeting with you, one phone call, and being who you are, this is going to be a huge story. People are going to prison, you'll get back your money. You're going to get back your money, but you're not going to get it back. I depend on people in Jamaica.
The next thing I want to set the board. Ratty. Pastor Ricky and Byron. Why both see it hard to come sit with we in another space here?
See that?
Why?
I don't know. See that?
Come to interview with Bolt again. A jollification platform them there, you know. The real
Them can't help him. Them platform, they can't help him.
Cannot help him. You need for them on a wilderness, man in the wilderness. A Rattigan, reason with Rattigan. A mystic sensation. Find aromatic too. Because come just come for the Titan, man. Just come for the Titan bolt, man. You do a show with the Titan, you're going to do one with Ratty, man. And then you come on and mystic. You just need to take 3 days out of 1 week and your problem solved.
Look, James did I said there's no money to get back. James, you are wrong. There's no money in Jamaica to get back. But them guys that have the money, the money there. The money there.
We know where the money there. We know where the money there.
We know the money there. James, the money there.
Yeah, we know where the money is.
Call me Icon if you want back your thing. If you want back your thing.
We are tell Bolt so we know where the money there. We don't know we think on it already, you know. I just true certain legal reason.
Right.
We not do so with it. Bolt, you need to come around on them platform. Yeah. Anybody where listen this, get to him. Make him know, say, around your so is where it's at.
Yeah. All right. All of the house for the money them buy, all of the boat, all of the
everything. Yeah,
all of the thing then get back in money. And then the linchpin of all of this is that he won't get back in money. He won't get guarantee. He won't get back in money because they really have the money. But the other thing about it, what me really want to say is that people go to prison. And that will not happen in Jamaica. No. You got no money and nobody now go to prison in Jamaica. You have to be from outside. And listen, this is a perfect case if you want to deal with corruption, because we see what happened with Marissa Dalrymple for Philibert the other day, you know. We see what happened. She faced 2 years. She tell all kind of lie and carry on and all kind, and what them do? Them find her 900,000. What's 900,000?
Slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist, right? So there's no, both you not get no justice in that Jamaica. All of the, and by the way, and him alone, you know, you have what? How much other investors stuff? We not hear from them neither.
Not hear from them.
We not hear from them.
Yeah. It needs to take it outside. Take it external.
I beg Bolt, man, look how long we are fighting for Bolt. And Bolt are doing a disservice too. Because Bolt, you know, we are fighting from the outset.
Yes.
So, we run with your thing, you know, like the Olympic torch, you know, my brother.
True.
Yeah, we keep the fire burning in the boat.
All right.
And I know you know come spend some time with it.
Yeah. You want to now? We have to close down because wife you have to work tomorrow and have to work every morning.
Why I tell you I know the show just get nice. No, the show just pick up momentum.
Thursday night.
That's true, man.
What is that? Big thanks, Ratty.
Yeah,
big
man.
thanks, Melting Pot. Big thanks, Pastor.
Hey, let's pass everybody tune in tomorrow to come.
All right.
Yes. Pastor Ben over there. We're gonna talk up some more things. SSL, Bull, Prime Minister, and White. Everybody will talk about all the time.
All right.
Give me a quick commercial. Dr. Ben Rattigan friend agreed to come on my TikTok live tomorrow at 4:30 to talk about women's health issues.
Yeah, people need to tune into that.
Please tune in at Pastor Ricky Music on TikTok. Thank you.
Here you go, people. You have it. And make sure. Keep it in lock. You understand?
Lava style. Lava.
Yeah.
Lava.
Overflow.
All right. Blessings, sir.
My
Have a good night. And to the subscribers who are tuning in, we love you. And we are fighting for our Jamaican people. Good governance. That is what we are defending here. Bless up. Good night. I'm out. Walk good. Blessings. All right.
Yeah, man.
All right. See you, Melting Pot. Blessings.
Blessings.